Hello everybody and good morning and welcome. So today we're going to be shoutcasting ALGS APAC South. I know it's definitely in the middle of the night, so good evening, good morning, or for others, good night for those that are just showing up, probably in bed, resting up for the US side of things. But we're excited because I'm going to be giving you live commentary, live play-by-play, here for APAC South. So the biggest thing for today that I definitely want to highlight, and right after we're going to get into some housekeeping items just to make sure everyone kind of understands the flow of how things are going to work. As you can tell, individual players are already piling into the server. I'm going to switch scenes just a hot second. So if you're watching this YouTube video, keep in mind that this is live on a 5-minute delay, but if you click the VOD, that obviously there's no 5-minute delay. You're watching the VOD and catching up on the play-by-play. So as you can tell, individuals are in the server. We have luckily and thankfully access from EA, giving us an observer point of view. And the beauty for those that watch my channel and you're getting into competitive, you want to become a better player, we're going to be giving in-depth analysis from the fantastic players that are joining in today's rounds. And we're going to be able to do quite a bit on that front. So very, very excited. There's a lot to share. There's a lot to unfold here, especially considering we're going to be doing live play-by-play. Again, because this is live and this is a battle royale, keep in mind sometimes we may not be able to catch every bit of action. We're going to be working and shaping a story for you guys. So as teams continue to improve and do better, what we're going to be highlighting and working on is making sure we tackle the teams that are performing the best and keeping track of them and their gunfights, as they're monumental of who's going to take and run away with this tournament for today. So real quick, let me tackle some quick in-house items. Make sure I got everything tweeted out, everything's in order on the back end, just as everyone's doing right now in the Discord. Since this is a live event and we're doing it live. So give us a hot second. We set everything up and then we are going to be, as mentioned before, there is a 5-minute delay. I will be timestamping this for those that click on this, and there's a VOD, and we do see everyone piling in. I'm checking the Discord, making sure everything's switched up. I'm going to be switching scenes here. We're going to be on full screen here. It's going to be black for just a second and loads up, and then boom, and here we are. Everyone's piling in, everyone's getting set up, making sure that we are all good to go. So quick second here. Let me just make sure I give the stream out. But just a quick shout out to everybody in chat. Itachi, Eric, good to have you back. Athothium, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right, but it's good to have you here. Mentioning you're the best for being here. Appreciate you. And Sensei, good to have you as well. So give me a hot second. I do have one more thing I need to take care of. Just making sure everyone is aware that we are live and that we're shoutcasting the event. I did change up the format. I'm going to keep tabs and tally on the upper right based on when we're on various games, and I removed some of the overlays to ensure that they don't overlap or conflict with anything that you're seeing in terms of gameplay. I want to have as clean of an experience as humanly possible for you guys, and we're going to shoutcast and do a play-by-play of everything that you see on screen today. So very, very exciting, and hopefully you guys are all excited as well. So just took care of all the housekeeping items in the back end, making sure we are doing everything we need to do on our end and so forth. But we are all set. Let's do a rundown of all the teams that are participating in today's event. And just so you guys are aware, this is APAC South. This is Asia. We covered Asia North yesterday, Asia Pacific. So very, very exciting. There's teams you may not be aware of, and there's a lot of players and a lot of compositions that we're going to be seeing that may be out of the social norm of comparing watching NA, Europe, and also Asia tend to play very differently. Yesterday, we saw a lot of individuals switching over to Caustic as a play. We saw more cryptos in play than I've ever seen in terms of competitive, especially for her final game. We are going to see the infamous Wraith, Bloodhound, and Gibraltar combo, and as we go into the games, we're going to explain why we see so much of that. Again, give me some feedback in terms of audio levels, if everything's good on your end. I know as individuals pile in and we start to warm up, I'll definitely get feedback and we'll adjust. So definitely made some audio adjustments based on feedback from yesterday, and we should be good to go. In between rounds, I'm definitely going to give a shout out to everyone and say hello, do a check-in, see how we're all doing, do a play-by-play. And again, if you guys have feedback of what team you want to see tracked, we can definitely shape them into the narrative for today and see how everything is going and doing. So right now, what's occurring on the back end is that all players are just verifying that they're here, they're all checking in, they're piling into the server, and then we'll get started. This is the same procedures that occur for North America and Europe. And the beauty behind the stream that we're giving you today is we're giving you the behind the scenes look as well, how it looks as individuals definitely pile in and get ready, and how this looks. And for those that are unaware, especially if you're on the console side of things, this is actually how everything gets set up on the back end. Everyone joins into a custom lobby and everyone gets set up. And usually it takes about 5 to 10 minutes before everyone kind of gets in. And then pretty much they press the go live button and everyone is all set up. Make sure everything is all set on my other laptop. Make sure I can read chat in between rounds. So again, there will be a 5-minute delay, just as there was yesterday. Again, this is for competitive integrity because we are literally live streaming the event. So it's important that we obviously have that. Otherwise, individuals can obtain information. We want to avoid any and all that, because this is a definitely a highly competitive tournament. There is a lot of money on the line for these individuals, and everyone's going to be playing their heart out for today. Everyone definitely wants to take first prize and first place and step away for, one, obviously the bragging rights, and 2, for the money and everything else behind it. So very, very exciting as we get into it for today. So while we settle on in, just as a reminder, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoy the stream. There's a 5-minute delay. This is captured live. This is a behind the scenes look with everything. We're going to be switching POVs. We're going to keep hot in the action. Also, over on the Twitch side, we actually have TSM Dolphin, who is actually shoutcasting on the Twitch side as well. So he is also on a 5-minute delay, just so you guys are aware. Chicken Man, it's good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. Hebo, good to have you here. Marge, Enders, welcome everybody. Exciting to have everyone here, and then we'll get started in just a hot second. The most exciting part about these tournaments, and what we were discovering yesterday as we were really diving deep in all of this, is the insight and how individuals play and why competitive players will play a certain way. So let's talk about how most of the shape of the rounds are going to go. Essentially, everyone is going to have a landing spot for themselves, except for 1 or 2 teams. There's going to be 1 or 2 teams that are going to fight for definite positioning because they happen to 50-50 off the drop, because that's a place where they've practiced and they put a lot of time and effort into. Yesterday with APAC North, we happened to see quite a bit on the front where we saw a 50-50 consistently happening at Lava City that switched over to staging so they can find an opening. The issue is that if this team does not go for the 50-50, it changes up their full practice, what they're comfortable with, and how things are going to shape up for them. So it's important that they definitely fight for the spot, and it's definitely nerve-wracking, especially at this tier and level, to get knocked out in 20th place. Nobody wants that, nobody's looking for that, and everyone wants to make sure that they feel comfortable in securing at least some points as they go into the round. You're going to see that individuals are not going to take fights early on. You're going to see those that secure their spots into the zone will not go outside of the zone to fight. We'll also see individuals edging out the circle to secure kills, to garner points, and to edge those out that are probably late on rotation. So we'll kind of keep track. We'll see what happens once they're all set up in the center. We're going to keep track of that and see how things are going on that front. And then once it occurs, we'll track what's happening on the inside. I'm going to give you a play-by-play on where I believe the action is going to take place, where faults are going to happen, where players will make mistakes. Because the hard part, especially with all of this that we're going to see, is predicting. Predicting is extremely difficult, especially at this tier and level, in terms of what other individual teams will and will not do. Sometimes you have to go against the grain. What we saw yesterday, sometimes individuals will all rotate the exact same way because that's the smartest rotation to do. But because if everyone is thinking the exact same way, that can be detrimental to the success for your team. So the question was yesterday, who won APAC North? APAC North was actually won by FK, Fennel Korea. Fennel Gaming actually started really, really strong yesterday at the start of the tournament, but unfortunately fell short. They were match point, and unfortunately they couldn't clutch it out. So we do have quite a few matches that are lined up for today, just so you understand the format. Individuals have to reach a certain number of points. Once they reach that point threshold, they are considered match point. After they meet match point, they have to win a round. So this can go on for quite a while, or honestly, a team could probably win 4 rounds in a row and just walk away with this tournament, and we'll be done early for the night, which would be pretty crazy to see. But nonetheless, it's going to be very, very exciting as we hop in and we take a look at everything that is happening for today. We're just taking a look at the back end, taking a hot look to see how things are looking. Stefan, it's good to have you here. Boku-chan, good to have you as well. Very, very excited. Let's take a look at the Discord and see how things are shaping up. We're on a 2-minute timer, and we should be getting started here in just a hot second. I think we're waiting for one more person. All right, let's mention that we're starting. We'll see how that's going to shape up. While they're cleaning up a few things, let's talk about the teams again that are participating for today. Teams that you may or may not be aware of, but we have definitely teams over in Asia that are very popular. We have Armory Gaming, Athium, EXO, Experience Esport, Full Sense Esport, Headhunters, Inside the Ring, Invictus Gaming, LCQ, Lynx, Myth Apex Team 2, Parentheguy, Parathelion, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing any of these names, Red Sea, Senor, Team Dreamfire, Thunbury, Wolfpack, and of course Wolfpack Shadow. So they have 2 rosters that definitely advanced. So I apologize if I mispronounce any of those team names. We'll definitely go with some abbreviations. Don't worry, I mispronounce my own name sometimes, so that definitely happens. But we're excited. Last few members are hopping in. Looks like we're in a holding pattern right now as a few individuals catch up in terms of, it looks like we're having a few technical issues on the back end. So once everything is all set up and running, we'll get right into APAC South. It'll be the first game of the day. We're going to keep track. And for those that are watching the VOD, I'll definitely put timestamps so we can keep track of all the action. At the start of the round, what we're going to do is we're going to switch between every single team, and we're going to see where they're landing. And we're starting. Cloney, thank you so much for being here. Welcome back to the stream. Excited to shoutcast today APAC South for you guys. So, going to be an exciting day. Going to be a whole lot of fun. And game 1 is starting. So on the screen, as you're a spectator, you're probably wondering why I'll probably be sitting in the screen for a moment. Individuals are selecting their legends. So they're actually on the legend select screen. We're just sitting here waiting until they select their legends. Then we're going to have a first point of view POV switching between everyone. Joker definitely will. We'll keep a close eye on Myth Team 2 with Gen Burton. We'll take a look at Gen Burton. Definitely will. We have a total of 10 games slotted for today. We've seen an average that they'll finish around game 8. I've seen it end around game 9. It's really going to depend. Once a lot of teams are match point, it's inevitable that somebody is going to win at the end. It's going to be very exciting. I know everyone is definitely piling in. This is not my normal stream time, nonetheless, but it's very exciting the fact that so many individuals have shown up. And here we go. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the music. I have adjusted the in-game volume. I can definitely turn it up a bit more to make sure that you guys hear everything that's going on. We'll make some adjustments. So we're going to follow first Team X here. See where they're landing. This is the same landing that FG was landing yesterday. So they're landing Thermal Station. Atheum is landing over by Trials and splitting up by Skyhook. We saw that play yesterday as well over by them. Looks like we got quite a few teams landing Fragment East. We're going to probably have to keep a close eye on this. If we do see a knock, we'll switch over to the action right away. 2 teams looks like they're contesting. Very respectful. We got a Team Fragment East here, which is EXO. Let's look at Experience Esport and see where they're landing. Experience Esport looks like they're splitting off with from Geyser through Tunnel and also No Name right over here. So right now, looks like a positive end so far. We don't have a lot of teams contesting. Looks like Dome is free. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a team fight off the rip. Looks like Launch Site can definitely be very competitive. We'll keep switching through here. Full Sense Esports, definitely on Launch Site. This is where we're probably going to keep a close eye on the action here.
Something good this way.
as potentially we're probably going to see a big fight early on. So let's go to switch over to Headhunters, see where they're at. Headhunters is rotating over to Trials, which a team has split off from Skyhook that we noticed early on as well. So as we look inside the ring, no pun intended because they are actually inside the ring. Looks like it's pulling Harvester side. The team from launch site did back off. So it looks like that was actually, let's take a look at experience.
Might be something good this way.
So it's Full Sense Esports. So they noticed another team did land near them, and they are backing off from the counter. We're going to see this a lot for today. That teams and individuals are going to be careful in terms of their encounters and engagements. We probably will see a bit of lag. We are obviously streaming APAC South. Obviously, I'm in East Coast, so if we get a little lag, I apologize for that. We are spectating, so sometimes there could be a little bit hitches here and there. But nonetheless, we keep moving along. Let's go and take a look at LCQ only, see how they're doing on their end. Looks like LCQ, looks like they're taking tree. No action right now. Teams are being very respectful. Keep in mind, we do have one individual from SEG who did not queue in, so they are actually taking the finals and playoffs here as a team of two. This is definitely a big situation. We look at Lynx here. They're still in fragment. No 50-50s taking place. So what happens at the start of the round when we're looking here is that we're keeping a close eye as teams are all going to play very, very respectfully at the start of the round. You're not going to see teams just full in. This isn't ranked. This isn't pubs. There's a lot of money on the line. There's a lot of high risk and high reward here. And so teams are looking to seek the zone. And while we're on that topic, let's take a quick look at the compositions that we're looking at. We're seeing a lot more steady pace. We do have one Watson team in play from Team Dreamfire. We also have from Invictus Gaming a Pathfinder. And we also see a Caustic from Atheum, which is less from what we see from yesterday from APAC North. Something to notate, and we even see it happening here live, where individuals will utilize the Bloodhound with the Gibraltar as well for cover to make sure they can figure out the zone and rotate over to it. So we see the zone is pulling towards the staging side of the map. This is most likely going to be a staging ending. They're also pinging this location because this is also a very popular spot for it to pull from. So for newcomers to Apex, and you're noticing how competitive plays out, as we know, in competitive, there's the infamous fear of third parties. No team is going to play a risky play early on. It's just not worth it. Oh, and we already see a fight actually occurring over by Myth's team. Already got a knock. Let's take a POV. Looks like it was a shot from a distance with an R301. We're going to keep a close eye on this. Looks like the Bloodhound is already inting in. Looks like they know they caught him out of rotation. They can tell that they have this for free at the moment. They're scanning and they're porting over. They're using the port as a way to get into the fight, and once they got the knock, they know this is a 3v2 situation, and they're less fearful of the cost of this. Let's go switch over as requested to Gittenberg. Jim Burton. Looks like they already did a clean mop-up. Apologize we missed it there. Looks like he was frying with the Volt and the R99, running 2 SMGs at the start here. We'll keep a close eye. Looks like they're going to be pretty hot starting off for the day. Already getting 2 kills right off the rip. And the reason why they definitely felt confident in this fight is they realized this was a team of 2, actually. So going from a 3v2, they know for a fact that they can win this. They're actually full chasing this, but they know that they may need to back off from this situation. And this is definitely not the situation they want to be in. Most teams may play aggro at the start here, knowing that they can garner some extra points, but we will see them back off for some of the placement points. So we look at Myth's Team 2 here. They're holding tight, holding strong, keeping a close eye on things, making sure that they're not getting caught out of position. They know that there's teams in the staging area, and we see them playing quite smart. They rotated in, they use the balloon to get into the zone and play for positioning. We'll keep a close eye on this team here as they are center of zone. We may switch POVs because once teams do get hunkered down and feel comfortable with the positioning, they will utilize a Wraith port to get in and out of positioning, but they will not give up their spots. Usually what happens the minute a team will give up their situation or spot, someone is more likely to say, that's free, I'm going for it, I'm going in. Let's take a quick look at Big Z. Unfortunately, we had a disconnect over on their side. Very unfortunate on that end, or he probably disconnected and got in the fight. We see the Gibraltar throwing his bubble for cover and rotating in, looking to get the banner. Fortunately, gets fried as he jumps down, and that's going to be it for mostly that team. We have one rat, unfortunately, on their roster at this point, and the Bloodhound's just going to say, I need to get out of here. I can't stay. I need to rotate over to zone. He's got a full-on rotation at this point and does not want to get into the mix of it. Let's take a look over back again at Myth Teams 2 at Jin Burton and see how they're doing. So again, this team is sitting very, very comfortably in their angle. The teams holding the chokes are not going to engage. The team that is holding this angle over here is definitely going to have a bit of a harder time because they are fighting from a low ground position, and we probably know that this is going to pull on the upper side and echelon of the circle and zone. For those that are tuning again, and this is APAC South, this is actually from South Pacific Asia that we're tuning into, so if you don't recognize a lot of the names, this is giving you insight of how different parts of the region of the world are all playing this tournament, and definitely a lot of money on the line, a lot going on right now. We're looking at Myth Team 2, and we're taking a look at how the action is looking on their front. So right now, teams are sitting pretty comfortably. We mostly have to worry about the Skyhook side of things. Let's take a look at the rat location, where he's located. Looks like he did manage to find his way in. This is the rat that we saw early on that got unfortunately rolled over and caught at a position. Very unfortunate. All they were trying to do was just simply rotating in. At this point, he's just ratting, finding his nice, comfortable spot where he's at. This is the Bloodhound from earlier from that team. I'm kind of curious as they rotate in. He's about to run into this team over here in just a hot second from Lava Fissure. We may switch POVs as he's potentially going to get caught out third party as he's being hard chased, and the other teams knows they can definitely secure a free kill here. Every point is going to matter here. Every bit of positioning, every scoring. Right now we still have 20 squads left in the lobby, 55 people remaining. He's definitely taking this quite slow. He's taking a bit of zone damage, which is perfectly fine. It's good to play patient and figure out how things will go from here. It looks like he's waiting. He knows the team is located right across his way. And we're going to use the rat as information as we go forward. Let's take a quick look again at Gittenberg and see how their team is doing, holding up. Looks like they decided to rotate out over here. They noticed that there was a team. So again, what they're utilizing, as you can tell, they're utilizing the port to go in and out. So what occurred here, and there was not a whole lot of action quite yet, but this is important of what you're going to see often. So obviously, Jin Burton probably made a call and said, look, they're trying to scan. They'll use the Gibby Bubble for cover for the Bloodhound to get the scan off. So when they were getting the scan, they said, you know what, let's go take a port over to them. Let's get hot in the action. And unfortunately, they weren't able to capitalize, and they said, you know what, that's not worth. Let's go back right to our positioning. So we're going to see a whole lot of that occurring for today and making sure players are playing extremely smart. Look at him. He's going right back into the action. Let's see if we get a quick POV of this. He goes for the scan. He knows that they moved, and he says, you know what, I'm going to go for the scan and secure this. We want to know where the next zone is, and let's sit with him and see where the next zone is going to locate. If we see some action in the kill feed, we'll definitely switch POVs. And there's a Gibby Bubble. There's a Gibby Bubble switching. So the Gibby Bubble is there for protection. Unfortunately, the Wraith Portal is out. They know teams are going to rotate. They're probably definitely feeling pretty nervous in this situation. And we're going to switch back here, making sure teams on the north side here. This is probably the tightest spot, as well as this team is about to encroach on the other team located there. So the team that we're keeping an eye on because they have center zone is Myth 2. And it looks like they're looking to get into action. They're actually giving up their spot here, and mostly because they know that it's going to end staging, and they're looking to secure a spot. What they're going to have to do in this situation to ask themselves the question, do we push a team out, or do we hold the choke? Right now, they're kind of opting for holding the choke, and they realize, and they're trying to look for information, ask themselves the biggest question, where can we find a spot that is free to sit comfortable and make a big play? So they realize staging is a bit tight, as we can tell. We've got a team holding the main building here, and they're holding the building to the left, and they don't realize that there's another team rotating pretty much right behind them. They have to be careful on the cracks here. Healing and making sure that they stay healthy. They don't want this low ground area, and unfortunately the reason why we're keeping a close eye on them, because they're making the most aggro position at the moment in terms of rotation. This is going to be where most of the action is currently at the moment, as you can tell. And their goal right now is just to survive. So right now, they have secured a spot on the low ground. This isn't ideal, but at least they're sitting comfortable at the moment. The issue is that they can get picked on from many different angles from what you're seeing. We're going to switch over in a hot second, possibly to this other POV if that fight lasts any longer, but it looks like it was a clean wipe. Let's go and switch over to Headhunters and see how they're doing. Looks like a league that got picked off from rotation. You're going to see a lot of this occurring pretty early on. A lot of damage going out. just recovering. He has a gold armor, which is a plus, but he also has his teammate, which is on white. This team above is hunting them, and they're just relaxing, chilling, hoping that they won't get too caught out of position because they've lost their Gibraltar. And losing a Gibraltar is not ideal in this situation, partly because you're losing your access for free rotations. Keep in mind, what's occurring here is that we're seeing headhunters potentially running into Myth 2 for the low ground over in staging, if they can make it. We'll see if they can make it in the situation. They're not going to be full-on encounters here. They're trying to go for positioning. That's going to be the most ideal situation. So they scan and they see there's a lot of information at play. Unfortunately, he's got white armor. Looks like he's already getting a Volt. The guy's got a Mastiff. He knows he can't win the encounter against a Mastiff. He backs up. He knows at this point, this is the team that we're talking about. This is Gettenberg. Let's switch back over to his POV in just a hot second. Let's see how the Wraith is handling the situation. Decides to leave this overall encounter. Backs up from the situation. Said, you know what? I will find a different spot. I'm going to have to rat for some extra points because we do not want to go out in 15th or 19th place. So let's go over from Gettenberg's point of view. They're getting picked on from above. They know this is not the most comfortable situation. All they're doing is just securing and picking on kills from the bottom angle. The team ports around, but that from above up goes right back and realizes he can't take that encounter because he has been cracked. Myth has to ask the question, do we take the port? Do we take the bait? They're most likely not going to take the bait. They know that's not free points and would not be exactly smart to do at a tournament level of this caliber. So the reason why we saw the port down, they're not throwing. They're trying to see if they can assess the situation, get some damage in. The damage was not looking good, and they said to themselves, this is not worth it. Looks like they're hanging tight here. We'll switch POVs in a hot second. Headhunters is probably just ratting in a different angle. And keeping in mind with this team, because they're actually rotating the most in the zone and looking for kills, and currently have the most kills on the scoreboard at the moment outside of Wolfpack. This is where all the exciting stuff happens as teams rotate. We have 52 seconds on the clock, and teams are just going to hold tight who are in center zone. The reason why, keep in mind, look at their inventory. Notice that they don't have all the ammo in the world except for Myth Templix, who's got a 3X, who's feeling pretty confident with the R301. But for Gettenberg, he's already definitely utilized most of his utility. He's not going to be taking a lot of fights, and he's just mostly going to wait until he can get back to the action quite later. We do see some action occurring, definitely on the Wolfpack side. Let's switch over to Exo and see how they're doing. We have one knock on this end. We're going to hold on this angle here and see how this team, if they happen to get wiped, or if he managed to clutch out this big encounter. There's scan going out. He's going for the res. He's got to hope that they do not flank at the opposite angle. There's an Arc Star that goes out. He backs up in this encounter. Arc Star goes out, holds his shield for cover. And then we wait for the situation that's going to play out. This is definitely nerve-wracking. He's got a lot of teams right around him, right above him. And he only has a little bit of time before he can definitely get that res off. He needs to hold for just a little longer, hoping to at least get 15th place. Getting 15th place. We see a bleed out. Actually, let's go. Myth's team actually got knocked, which is very unfortunate, with a lot of fights. And this occurs is definitely the biggest thing that occurs in a BR that we have to realize. That multiple fights will happen simultaneously, and we won't be able to catch every single POV. But it looks like Myth Teams 2 goes out pretty early, and it looks like they get punished. The team that was potentially third-partying them here does get punished. So he does leave his Gibraltar, goes in for the gunfight, unfortunately gets knocked. Let's switch over to Red Sea, as they were just close by in this fight. We're seeing a lot of teams on the low ground going in for some fights, going in for some kills, and running into some unfortunate circumstances here. The zone is going to close. It's going to get very chaotic, going to get very crazy, as we've seen teams rotating in. This is a 2v3 potential situation, so they're going to play this quite patiently. Let's switch POVs and look at Team Dreamfire and see how they're handling. This is where Myth's team was located, and they have a Watson up, and they're going to bat. He's got red armor. He's going to be holding this. He's going to have to leave his Watson. He knows that it's just unfortunate that not worth it. He's going to try to go for a top 10 situation, and he's going to run away from this encounter because he knows that the team is confident, full aping, and there's not really much that he can do. He has to just stay alive in this situation as long as humanly possible. Hope that he can clutch it out. Tries to go for the spray, has an EVA 8, uses at range, unfortunately fails. The EVA 8 definitely fails. Most of us, most of the time, always love that trusty Mastiff. That was a close encounter as he went for the 1v1 with Arctic Pack, and we're going to switch away from this fight, as this no longer, he's going to be ratting and holding his angle. So we look at Red Sea here again. Looks like they're getting arced out of the situation. They're holding an angle left of staging. They are not in a bad spot per se, but definitely not in the best one either. So when we look back over at AG in just a hot second, let's take a look at Full Sense and see how they're doing. They're holding the outside of the zone. They have to rotate. So we have 42 seconds. We're going to keep a close eye on this situation with Full Sense because they have to rotate. The teams in the center, if they're fighting it out, we'll have to see who clutches it out and where that happens. Right now, teams are feeling out the situation and what's occurring. And everyone is going at it for the early on points, and everyone's trying to figure out where the rotations are at. We see, obviously, the infamous triple take Terry taking shots. Lendy is definitely has to focus on the rotation, has to realize that there's a port up for him. He's going to use the port, but he's holding the angle to see if he can get any cracks to call out for his teammates to come over to him. The port is down, and he holds the angle waiting for anybody who's potentially rotating in the back here. Let's switch POVs to the front because we're keeping an eye on them because their rotation is definitely going to be the hardest. They're going to have to fight for something here. The Wraith sees the Gibby bubble right in front of him. Asks the question, do I push this? Do I hold back? And they're going to full send it. They need to wait for the Gibraltar to go for a full-on opening. Otherwise, this is a 2v3 situation. It may not be worth it. They get some strong burning damage here. They're holding. They get some strong damage. They need to still rotate. They got 14 seconds. They realize they have 14 seconds. He's going to go for the bat. 3 seconds left on the bat, and they're potentially going to drop, and they're going to call for a spot down below. He says, you know what, that's not worth it either. We're just going to have to full send this. He uses the Gibby bubble for better rotation here. And unfortunately causes them to get wiped. We're going to switch over to Myth Dexter here as he looks like he's getting some knocks in and holding teams out of rotation. Let's switch over from the different point of view and angle right here. So this is a fight we're just looking at. They got a few knocks there, picking on teams. They have the height. They realize they need to rotate over to zone. We're going to take a quick look here at Myth Apex for Chambers, Dexter, as well as Kilo. They're going to have a hard rotation. There's 7 squads remaining, 16 teams. The team that we're just looking at before got pushed out, and they're holding that angle there. So what occurs in the situation, they see a team on the right. They're going to say, do we full 8 this and fight for priority here? Do we push on the left, or do we jump down? It looks like they're opting for the latter and saying, you know what, let's push this team out. Let's secure these points. We're looking at Myth Chambers as he's got the lead on the encounter. Knocks the Gibraltar. Makes a big play. The Wraith already leaves the encounter, kind of signaling that they're not confident in this gunfight. And this is a big play in terms of placement that they needed. They take down AG in a pretty strong way. We look at AG. Still have 2 remaining members on their roster. And they definitely took the low ground looking for a different position. So Myth's team realizes that the team is still in the back. They'll have to either full-on contest them. They have 10 seconds, or they'll have to push in. The Gibraltar ult comes out, and they say, you know what? We can't push that anymore. We're going to have to 50-50 a team and fight for a better position here. So the comms that are most likely happening at this point, they're highly discussing where they're going to have the rotation. So the Wraith takes the port down below. She's probably making a call, giving it intel and information. Says, is it safe? Are we clear? Goes for a strong 1v1 here. Gets a little bit of damage in. That Wraith is definitely feeling uncomfortable. He needs to call for his teammates to come right down to him, and they definitely do. The scariest part in this situation is that they are fighting from a low ground location, and they do have the Gibby bubble to buy them some time. But the issue is, if they use the Gibby bubble too early, they're just going to get picked on. This is also a hard angle to fight from as they don't really have a way up. Teams will only simply look down on them and start taking shots. So they clean up this encounter. We're going to switch to the higher POV of what's happening right above on staging. Lots of teams are right outside. They get a clean nade here with an arc star. And now they're stuck inside the building. They're hoping that the other teams will fight it out, but unfortunately they're not. And the reason why they're not, they're waiting for whichever team will secure the knock first, and then they'll make a call on where they should go. Let's take a look at Red Sea. Red Sea is hurting at this other angle, but the other team's not aware of it. Myth is the only team that's down below, just hanging tight and just waiting for something to happen. Red Sea is on the left of them here. If they look left, that's where Red Sea is located. And the team right in front of them is Wolfpack Shadow. So let's take a look at Wolfpack Shadow. Wolfpack Shadow has quite a few kills already. 3, 2, and 3. So they're feeling pretty confident. They're on a roll. Once a team is on a roll with a lot of kills, you know that they're going to feel confident. Myth, unfortunately, at this part down below is just chilling, waiting for a situation to occur. Because if they can't come up, they just have to hold the teams up top fight. They may use their Gibby ult, do some damage, potentially get a knock. Some clean R301 damage. He's waiting for a clean knock. He's not going to go in even if he gets a crack. They're going to wait for zone and push in. So everything is going to happen right up above. We're going to keep a clear eye on Flash, because he definitely has a strong angle here, and is most likely going to get the most damage in as they push in. He's also going to be the latest on the rotation. He's going to take a little zone damage. He knows he has to rotate. This is definitely going to hurt. He can't stay for very long. This is not a bad angle to hold. Myth is down below. Red Sea is over to... Red Sea has been knocked and eliminated due to the zone. So we have a 2v2 up top. Team versus team. And still Myth, as we mentioned before, just chilling down below. Just waiting. Seeing how this all plays out. Lynx here has the building. It has to push out. I guarantee you Wolfpack, if they had nades, would definitely be throwing them inside. They probably ran out of utility in terms of their nades. They do have Mastiffs. They can breach. It looks like he's got an Arcstar and he's asking himself, can we get the Arcstar play? He's pinging, saying, I have an angle. Maybe you should throw an Arcstar over here. Gibraltar's making a play here. Let's take a look at the Gibraltar point of view.
Let's go this way.
We've got 3 teams left remaining. Can't get cracked. He's using this. He's throwing shields. So just for those that are aware that are new over to APAC, they're using these armor shields as free heal swaps. They're gaining the advantage, gaining the high ground here. No pun intended. And ensuring that they have a strong angle. They're going to keep dropping these armors for free swaps. He's going to use the port as a potential different angle to get them right across. The other team decides to push, goes for the Gibby Bubble push, knocks Flash. They use this opportunity because they saw the port. Perhaps the port was not the play to give him a different angle. And that's a clean sweep. Looks like Myth managed to find a way to get up top. They got knocked from the zone, and they come right up. Up here, we got one person coming up, left remaining. And definitely, that goes to Wolfpack Shadows for the first round of the day. Big kill game. He got 4, 3, and 9. Definitely have to keep a close eye on Belkan, as he had a massive game. We saw this happen yesterday with APAC North, where we saw FG coming up very clutch at the very start of the round. And this is a lot of momentum for them going in to the tournament for today. If I had that high kill of a game, I would definitely be feeling very confident with my team and roster, knowing that we can definitely go for more kills and more picks on the next round. They played that very smart, very passionate. And we'll keep tabs on teams. So we'll definitely keep tabs on, definitely, as you guys mentioned in chat, Jen Burton. But we have to keep 100% tabs on Wolfpack Shadow, as they showed up today. 2,580 damage just from Belkan alone. Massive game across the board when we see where is the spread of kills and where is the damage. Myth Apex not doing half bad. Jen Burton's team unfortunately got knocked out pretty quick, and we knew that this was potentially going to happen because they were in a low ground position and they were mostly just looking for fights and kills. So we're going to look for the next code, and we're going to hop into the next round here in just a hot second. Let me just make sure I update the match that we're going into. So the next match that we're going into here is going to be match 2. And very exciting as we kind of catch up things. So I'm going to take a look at chat. I'm going to answer any questions that you guys had while the server gets booted up for the next match here. So again, for all those that are hopping in, I see Abby. Thank you, honey, for being here. It's good to have you in the stream. Cloney, Simpler, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. Good conversations. Big Ape, good to have you here as well. Excited for everyone to be here. Already quite a few people. Already just the first match of the day as we're seeing the matchup. But you stick with me. We'll keep our point of view. We'll continue to shape the narrative and see where teams are rotating, what decisions they're making based on their positioning. We see from the first round of the day that teams were definitely playing a lot aggro. We saw Myth teams too playing very aggro in their positioning, asking themselves, do we go for kill points? Because the reason why they were probably making such a bold move on their end is that they knew they had the low ground, and all they were going to do if they just sat was just get picked on, as you saw when Arc Stars are being thrown their way. The unfortunate part is every single team was piling in. Their chances for survival kept dropping. Don't forget, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, enjoying the channel, don't forget to leave a like. Helps others find the channel, find the stream. Also, don't forget to subscribe as we bring out guide tutorials here on the channel for those to improve on Apex Legends. So we definitely have about 10 games lined up for today, and we're going to see, first and foremost, how that's all going to shape up. All right, servers up. Everyone's going to be piling in. Just like even if you're watching the official cast, what's going to be occurring at this angle is that everyone is just getting ready. Teams are reevaluating their situation, and while we're at it, we're going to take a look to see what the scores look like. We can very much tell, obviously, the team is going to be taking at least first place for the last round. So Wolfpack Shadow coming in very clutch. Again, Belkin feeling very confident in his plays, especially as this IGL and shot caller as a Wraith for his squad. So very exciting to see. So as teams all set up and kind of get ready, get ramped up, let's talk about the compositions that we saw. So while teams are going very aggro at the start, and we saw this with APAC North yesterday, is that teams are very comfortable with running Wraith, Bloodhound, and Gibraltar. And the reason why for that is that obviously you get to figure out where the zones are going with the Bloodhound, Gibraltar for making the pushes, and the Wraith for getting you in and out of trouble. So there's a lot of synergy here that makes it very, very, very good for rosters. So the interesting part is that we didn't see a Caustic at the end game here. We did see a Caustic in play. Yesterday we saw a Horizon and a Mirage. Today teams are pretty comfortable and they're going for what's safe. Perhaps they saw other tournaments and they said, you know what, this is what's working, this is what we need to do. So teams potentially probably changed up their comps and are switching things up. There will be a stream, yes, in 6 hours for I believe Europe. Thank you, Arm, as well for the comment. I appreciate it. Oh, for Sunday stream for this week, probably not. I'm probably going to be very exhausted, as this is probably going to go on for about 5 hours. Right now, we are in game 2 of the tournament for today. So let's talk about the comps. I'm curious as what's going to happen around game 4 is that we may potentially see more crypto teams or more Caustic teams to hold angles to secure their spot. Right now, teams are pushing and making big, heavy pushes. And unfortunately, we see in chat, imagine 2 of us disconnecting off spawn. Feels bad. Very unfortunate when we see disconnects. We did not see that yesterday happen in the tournament. It's unfortunate when we see that occur today in the tournament. So we'll see, make sure that individuals' connections are staying strong. I remember when I was connecting to their POV, definitely looked like they were lagging quite a bit. And we'll kind of see where things shape up. So what's going to happen, we'll follow Wolfpack as well as Gettenbird because they were definitely playing pretty aggro at the start of the rounds here. And we'll give you their POV and we'll take a look at teams that are rotating and making decisions based on everything. Sounds good. Again, thank you guys all for tuning in. Very excited. We're probably going to begin here in about 3 minutes for match 2. Get that underway. As you're in for a really long tournament for today, very exciting. We're going to try to capture all the plays. Again, when we see a different POV, I want to stay and make sure we don't miss certain plays. It's going to be unfortunate with the BR that we're going to miss certain things that happen because sometimes 2 fights are literally happening simultaneously. I'm going to hold on a POV just to ensure we don't miss some of the action that are occurring, and we're going to do our best to hold on who's going to be able to make the biggest play. We saw some nice plays already occur, and we'll continue to track the action. So I may not just switch over to a POV just because they were fighting. Sometimes things occur. Sometimes we're just going to follow the action where it's taking place and where we believe most of it's going to happen, especially as it shapes the narrative of teams that are up top. So especially as we want to follow, at this point, Wolfpack Shadow, as how they're performing and how they're doing. We're going to keep a close eye on Belkin because if he had a high kill game last game, you know for a fact that he's going to go in for more kills this coming round. Big Ape, I appreciate you, buddy. Scotty, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel, man. Good to have everyone here. Welcome to the stream. Chase, good to have you. We'll see if any... Unfortunately, you know, the fortunate moment is that we did have some disconnects that occurred in that last round. The plus side is that individuals were not fighting off the rip for the 50-50. When we saw APAC North, we saw teams fighting off the rip for 50-50s, which can be really rough for teams as they're going full on. Let's take a look on the back end and see how the games are looking. Looks like we have about 3 minutes until we start. So the shape of how a round goes, for those that are definitely new to APAC's competitive, is that, again, when we talk about the 50-50s that occur right at the rip, is that most teams are not going to fight early on in those encounters. And the reason why they're not going to is that placement points and every point is going to matter. No team wants to go and fight the risk of fighting for a 17th, 18th, or 19th place. That doesn't make any sense. Once they reach 15th place, that's whenever they start earning points. So that a team at least wants to capture a team out of position, or if they know, like we saw with MIF 2, where they know that they can just kind of go in for free for a kill, then they'll definitely full on send it if they know that they're safe in the area. But the team in the moment, there's a lot going on. They have to manage their inventory. They have to realize if they fight too long, that they're wasting resources for the end game. And if they're wasting resources, it may or may not be worth it in the long run of how they're positioning things. Hey Sander, it's good to have you here. We're covering APAC South. So for those that are just tuning in and watching, and if those that are watching based on the VOD for YouTube, right now this is live. It is a 5-minute delay. This is a reminder. We do have a delay because we are spectating in real time, and of course we don't want to ruin the integrity of the competition by having everything just be live. So this helps secure the competitive nature for Apex, and is definitely important and vital on that front. All right, we should begin here in about 2 minutes. Everyone looks like they're set. Everyone is connected. We got notification. We're going to begin here in just about 1 minute. So don't forget to grab yourself a coffee. Grab yourself a water. I have water here. Grab yourself a snack. And settle in, because you do have a little bit of a breath of fresh air right before the tournament starts, or the next match starts. Remember, once we start getting the action and teams start rotating, things are going to get very chaotic very quickly. So we have to keep that mindful of that. What do you think of Wolfpack Shadow Team? They are definitely killing at the start here. They have a very strong start. We're going to follow them right off the rip to see how confident they are, if they're going to change up their play style, or if they're going to keep consistent with just catching teams out. We saw this yesterday with FG and how they were performing. They're performing very similar to FG, making sure that they're only capturing teams that are out of position and not full enting unless it makes a whole lot of sense. Now, the unfortunate part with Myth 2, I guarantee Myth 2 would have came in for more kills at the end of the game there, but the reason why they did not is that they had the low ground positioning. So why teams were pushing out is they knew if they're stuck in the low ground that there's really no way to really get up. And that's the unfortunate part that we're in. So we just got confirmation that we are starting, and we are beginning here in just a hot second. TSM Dolphin streaming over on the Twitch side. He's got his POV. If you want two different POVs, we're definitely capturing different points of view of the tournament. Definitely recommend checking out his channel as well. All right, so next match is underway. Everyone's selecting the legends, hanging tight. And remember, if we're stuck here on the screen, it's only the reason we're spectating on the back end, and we're keeping tabs waiting for people to select the legends, and then we're going to keep an eye on where Wolfpack is going. So what we're going to follow in the tournament, I'm going to try to follow the action best we can and where we believe things are going to take place. I'm going to follow Wolfpack for this next go around, as well as Myth 2 with Gettenberg, as they were Jen Burton. Can't pronounce things today. It's definitely in the middle of the night. I actually switched over my whole sleep schedule just to be up. and cover both APAC for you guys. If you guys have questions in terms of how gameplay works, in terms of competitive, there's a lot to take away here that'll definitely up your gameplay and how you improve in APAC Legends. What makes me so excited about casting here on my channel, APAC South for you guys, is that I'm able to give you some of the play-by-play and some tips in the moment of what they're doing and what you can do to up your gameplay when you're playing pubs or ranked. Let's take a look at where Wolfpack Shadow was landing. I'm gonna go to mute the music in the background. You can see where everything is going.
Don't blame yourself.
So it looks like Wolfpack Shadow actually waited quite a bit. We'll see where they're landing. And we're going to commentate and get into the mind of them for this tournament and predict how they're going to go. So it looks like they're splitting Survey Camp and Epicenter. So if you notice right off the rip, they're definitely already breaking off. And the reason why they're doing this is they're trying to capitalize as much loot as humanly possible. There is a team stretching over to Refinery. They may contest them and say, you know what, we noticed your split. And he's already pinging that saying, you know what, there's a person near me. We definitely need to be aware of this, and we definitely need to be careful. So they're splitting this. We'll see if this team... So what he's doing is that what you want to do, especially in ranked, is you want to secure the loot as best as you can. Unfortunately, we're getting a little bit of lag here, but that's okay. The only natural that's going to happen is recovering APAC South. But just to realize what they're trying to do is they're trying to outskirt most of the loot, so as they come in, there's less loot for them to grab. And why they're splitting this, and you've seen this happen before, especially with other teams on US side, is that they'll secure the loot as much as humanly possible. Most teams will not just land solely on Survey Camp because there's just not a lot of loot to spread around. And you'll notice, as you see from Refinery end, that they've definitely already been splitting the loot and splitting things up to ensure that once they meet up, that they have the maximum amount of loot. So right now, no teams are fighting right off the rip. Actually, let's take a look at this team. This was a team that was fighting again on launch site for the 50-50. Very unfortunate. Last time they backed out, looks like they already got a kill. This man, unfortunately, struggling for armor. Just grab some armor. We'll go back over to take a look at how the other teams are doing. But if they have one down, this is definitely not the situation that they want to be in. So it looks like he got knocked. Not necessarily the most amount of action that you're going to see right off the rip. He probably just got the unfortunate circumstance of a 1v1 and just didn't get the loot that he needed. But this team knows that they need to get that banner. And they know that they're split. He's going to go for the play, going to go for this banner. We'll see if they're banner camping it. They are not, but they are inside the building. A little bit of respect there, not camping the banner too hard. Let's switch over to the POV. Unfortunately, he loses another friend. Punches him out. Hard flexes, said, I'm going to send you right back to the lobby. Very unfortunate. And now the Gibraltar has to go for another journey of locating another banner. So now he has to make a full-on journey, and this team knows that he's going to have to go back. So they have to say, you know what? Do we just let him get the banner? Do we be nice about it? Or do we just hard rotate in? They have 55 seconds to really make a decision, and he's got 86 seconds left on the banner. So he could potentially get this banner, go for a res, and pick up any scraps that he can. Most teams right now, as you can tell from the map, are not going to be fighting. Train Yard is going to be holding the high ground here. But this team most likely is not going to be engaging that. That wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for them to do. And the reason why it doesn't make sense is that a team is not going to full-on ape a team that has high ground. And I can tell you based on their positioning that they have the high ground on them. And that's why you're seeing this team go back to staging and say, nope, not worth it. I saw a question come in here. How do you stream? Do you need permission from EA or Respawn? They invited me. They added me over to spectate. They actually gave me the invite. Thank you so much again for EA for the opportunity. I think this really helps a lot of the viewers understand we're competitive. We kind of break things down and talk about it. He's got 20 seconds on the banner here. We're keeping an eye on this to see if they're going to hard gate them. Definitely backtracks a little bit. He's definitely nervous, and he says, you know what? I got 10 seconds to make a full-on journey, and they're not going to leave me alone. Let's take a switch POV here, just from the Skyhook side. Everything seems to be pretty calm in this world. Actually, let's switch back over to Gettenberg. I want to see how they're rotating in. And they made a hard rotation in. They've been moving nonstop. It looks like they may go for a fight. There may be a fight over an epicenter. We need to take a quick look at that in just a hot second. I want to see if this team is going to rotate because they're rotating right behind them. And they did not engage. They're only going to be just dancing around each other. This team's about to go for the encounter and go for the fight. We see the Devotion full spray. Doesn't really get much damage in. We see the Wraith going for the bat. They're holding this angle. He decides to port and say, we need to get a different angle on this. We just can't fight out in the open. Let's go for epicenter. Let's go for a different positioning. They probably have heard that port, and they're probably considering if they should fight or not. They hear the gunshot in the background, and they realize that a lot of teams are making some big fights and big encounters. He does need a full-on heal, just a little bit, to make sure before he gets into this fight that he's not caught out. And the Wraith may not entry frag. Gibraltar throws his bubble, makes a push in. After this fight, we're going to switch back over. Let's follow Gettenberg here. Bloodhound extraordinaire. He's frying people. He's securing these kills. He knows what he's doing. He's got the Volt. He's running an infamous Volt and R99. Looks like out of the crew, he's the one who's going to entry frag and do some damage here. And they secure this house for ideal position. They're most likely not going to move from this. They're just going to hold here, but we're going to have to go back and forth and keep an eye on what's happening. There is action going on with Wolfpack Shadow. Let's take a look at this. This is not the ideal situation that they want to be in, as we were just talking about just a hot second ago, as he rats and runs away and tries to find a different position. This was a team that got the win just last round and now is struggling to stay alive and avoid getting knocked out at 20th place. He hears the footsteps. He runs away. He doesn't want to get knocked. This is literally the team that took the match before and was frying, and now literally about to get knocked out in 20th place. That's not the situation we want to see with Wolfpack, but I guarantee everybody else in the lobby is feeling really happy and really excited the fact to get knocked out. So we look at Myth Team 2, and they're just holding this angle. They do have a nice prime positioning. This is most likely going to pull towards the epicenter side, and where we're going to see most of the action take place. As team rotate, let's take a look at WPAC, as they're already got a knock. They're taking a port in. I'm going to switch over to the Wraith POV. Unfortunately, the Gibraltar gets pushed because they're getting flanked in the back. He has to go back. Is Zera able to make a play here? They wait for the nades to go out. They're using that just to buy themselves a little time. They're boxing themselves in this situation, hoping that another team will come in third, trying to buy themselves some time. They're just going to keep spamming nades to avoid it. And what they're doing here, as they keep spamming nades, they're hoping that another team will rotate and push in. But unfortunately, based on the map, they really don't have much of a play here. The team from across the way may buy them some time and do some extra damage. If they see a knock, then they will go for a play. Nade goes out. They get no damage. They don't have a lot of info besides knowing after the scan that there's two people located in this building. They're going to keep spamming nades, see if they can get a crack, because once they do, they're going to use that Gibby bubble to push in and secure these 2 kills from them. Gold armor means at least they have a better resource. There's the Gibby bubble making the push in. Nades going out. They know they have them at this angle. There's no way that they're going to survive based on the amount of nades. Is he going to clutch it out? And unfortunately gets knocked. He was making some big plays here, and Red Sea comes in. Those massive shots were on point, but unfortunately with the 3v2 situation, it's definitely an uphill battle, the amount of nades that they had. Unfortunate part that we're going to be able to see that you'll see that there will be some occasional lag as we are spectating. And this is Asia South, APAC South that we're seeing, so we are unfortunately going to have a little bit of lag experience in the stream, so I apologize for that. It's just kind of the reality based on the region. I am located on the East Coast, but I appreciate the fact that you guys are so patient that we're doing a play-by-play and seeing how things shape up. Sometimes there's lag, sometimes it looks like things are occurring naturally, but that's just kind of the nature of spectating. That occurs with even other games. I've seen it happen with PlayerUnknown, but nonetheless, we're keeping the action hot here and giving you guys a play-by-play action of what is occurring. So we notice teams are just sitting comfortable. What's occurring here is that there is no movement or zone needed to change here for 2 minutes. They do see a team across the way. And the reason why I'm keeping an eye on this, these teams are all secure. There's no reason for them to fight. These teams are all going to be the ones to fight that we're seeing. Bunny hop here. Bunny hopping his way to success as he heals and rotates and finds an angle. We see that's the Watson team held up in there. That's Team Dreamfire. We only have one Watson team out of the whole crew that we see. Nobody has changed up their comp. Every team is the same except for 2 Caustics and a Watson. Those are the only other team comps. Other than that, we have nothing but Wraith, Gibraltar, Bloodhound. This team really wants to hard gate them, and I'm keeping an eye on the Charge Rifle Watson here, because if she gets some extra damage, 80 damage in, clean damage, then once we see that, it's going to be quite exciting for them to actually make a play or make a push. They have purples, they have blues. They have to kind of keep quite aware this is not going to be the easiest fight, especially since they have golds. Just as a reminder in their armor situation, they have Mastiffs. And they have an R301 and a Volt. So they're pretty close and strong to make a strong play. And they say, you know what? We're probably not going to be able to take the Watson play. So remember that team that was up here? Let's go rotate on them and let's see if we can make a better rotation over here. There's another team pushing on the north side that we have to be aware of. And they have to be aware of. And they have to just kind of skirt in between here. They're going for some damage. Let's switch over to the Bloodhound's POV as he looks like he's going to definitely entry frag. He's got the gold armor. So most likely if he's got the old gold armor, he's probably going to make the entry play because he can back up and heal right afterwards. And for those that are new to Apex and unaware of what the gold armor does, when he uses a cell, he can heal up 2 healing slots compared to just 1 with a cell. So that definitely benefits you massively in this situation. See that they did not engage. The Watson team has to rotate at this point because they're not in zone here. And they say, you know what? We got jebaited. We need to rotate. We can't stay here anymore. And they know they can't stay here. The team on the north side looks like they are just taking their sweet time looting. Let's take a quick look at how Gettenberg is doing. Remember what I mentioned, that once teams are secured in their spot, they won't move. Myth Dexter is going into a fight here. Let's just keep a close eye. I'm not going to switch POV. Dexter looks like he's frying. He's feeling very confident. Whew, man, the R31 is on point for him today. He's got a 1x2 on that. Already frying. Feeling very strong. Knocking Alter Ego. And securing some kills here. So what they're doing is they're edging out. The teams in the center are not going to move. What we're seeing is that this Watson team has to move up. They're going to be kind of caught out of position. We may see some fights. Look here is that all these teams are rotating in. And they're going to get into some rough spots. Look at Red Sea. We're going to hold tight here. Let's go to the Bloodhound. As they try to get into the bottom portion here. They notice that it's free. What's going to end up happening here is that we're watching them, but they're going to be free and safe here. So most likely they're not going to get pushed. And the team is actually located on the outside of them, located right here on the left. They get a scan and they realize that they're there. That was the team that was shooting them in the back. And they're probably not going to move. Let's go back to Dexter as he's frying again. Already got 3 kills in. And they were just cleaning up the last kill there. Fortunately, oh man, he is on point with the R301 today. Really high class aim and recoil control with the R301. Got R301 EVA 8. He's got the EVA 8 for some strong damage. He notices that one of them is caught in position, so he's using the port to get in. And they're mostly, he's going to wait for the Gibby before he actually makes a play here, unless he can get a knock. He has to be aware there's one above the building. Sees the Gibby. Calling for his teammates to come over. Notices that they're rotating. Frying them as he runs across there. Very strong damage from Dexter. Gettenberg actually is getting into a fight. Let's hold here, and we'll go back to Gettenberg and see how they're doing in just a hot second. Actually, switch over to their POV now. So it looks like they moved out. They're getting some kills here. Let's just keep an eye on him, as it was requested in the chat that we keep an eye on what's occurring here. This is definitely a big play based on the fact that they left their location. The reason why they left is obviously they got to secure some better positioning here. So they rotated very, very quickly, even before I even caught wind of it. So we looks like we have both myth versus myth here. They're definitely unaware that this is some potential fellow colleagues here, and they have no mercy shown for them. Fortunately, AG just got caught in the middle of this. So what we may see here is all the buildings are going to be held up here. Looks like Myth is holding the south building, they're holding this building. There's most likely not going to be a whole lot of fights. And the reason why we saw this massive movement was 100% because of the rotation in the zone, so they secured the spot early. We're going to switch POVs here in just a second. Let's take a look at how this team is doing as they're rotating in. Definitely sitting out in the open. Not the position they want to be in, and they're literally just kind of chilling and vibing as they're getting picked on by everyone. From snipers to R301s. Who knows, they may get fried by Dexter at one point in the center. This team has the most difficult spot. We already mentioned that the teams in the center are already comfortable. What we're going to see is the teams that are not comfortable trying to find their spot. As you can tell, there's the Gibby bubble, or the Gibby ult. And they're just trying to survive as long as humanly possible. And this is still 16th place. If they get knocked here, at this point, there's going to be no points for them. There is still no points. They only have 1 kill. So that's only 1 point for them. So they at least want to get 15th place at this point. And they most likely won't get it. Because these teams are all going to rotate right on top of them. If we take a look at the map and we see the teams rotating, all they can do is pray that they don't get fought and run into any issues. Switch to this POV. This Wraith unfortunately gets knocked, so what's occurring here is that you're not going to see a lot of strong 1v1s. You're going to see a lot of people dying and just getting caught out of position. That's just what the unfortunate circumstance that you're going to see. It's not going to be a clean 1v1 fight and clutching out that you're going to see. You're going to see a lot of teams just getting caught out of position. Let's take a look at Red Sea as they were in this situation. This is going to be a clean 3v3 fight here that we want to see. They're healing up. They have to rotate. They're on the low ground. They're waiting for the Gibraltar ult to finish. And once that Gibraltar ult finishes, then they'll make a push in. They're looking. They're peeking. They know all their colleagues and buddies are around them. We're going to keep a close eye on this team, as they definitely have 3 kills in already. And they see the enemy located here, right in front of them. So what they have to do in this situation is that they have to look around and assess where is going to be the cleanest rotation in, because they know that teams are around them. They got teams on the left and they got teams on the right. Bunny Hop right now is just scouting for information. If they get the crack, I guarantee you he's going to Wraith port and push his way in. We do see SF securing some kills in the kill feed and going back and forth, but let's keep an eye on this, as this is going to be the rotation in. Actually, let's switch over to Myth and see how they're doing. These buildings are actually getting fought for. We see nades already taking place and action going at it. We'll switch over to SF potentially in just a hot second. Myth has definitely been a requested POV of the chat, so we're keeping a close eye on this, and we'll take a look at the action in just a hot second. They threw a nade. This team may push him out. Definitely fighting for some positioning and fighting here. It was a massive fight that happened here, and you can see that was a Wraith port that just occurred. Let's take a look at Dexter and see how they're doing. The Dexter's going in. Definitely hear footsteps right above them. This team right here, definitely a rat. Team in the center right here. Everyone right now is just feeling things out. As we saw, unfortunately, Red Sea is already in a fight over here, got knocked. We're not going to switch to that POV. By the time we switch to it, they're probably already dead. We knew that was going to happen. Let's keep an eye on Dexter, as well as again Burton. Goes for strong damage. There's the rat. Knocks the rat. They'll feel a little more secure. They got another kill under their belt. Goes for the scan. Tries to assess what teams are around them. They know this team is on the west side of them, and they want to hard gate them out. You know what? He's going for the push. He says, you know what? I feel confident. I'm frying people. They're all flush. I'm getting knocks. I'm making big plays here. Goes for another scan. Tells his colleagues and friends that at this point, I'm frying. I'm on fire. I'm knocking people left and right. I'm making big plays. Knocking. Makes a push. Goes for the Gibby ball just to heal. Secures the kill. And that's the game for them. That's exactly what they needed. That's the play that they wanted. Some extra kills there. Scan just to make sure that there's no third parties. He's frying today with the Volt and the R99, feeling really confident. Once they get their kills and location, they got 3, 1, and 1. They go for the scan and they say, you know what, let's just keep pushing. We're on fire. Watch out for the Gibby ult. Fries him, gets him on flesh, backs up, and they got to wait at this point. And they got to wait for the Gibraltar to heal for them to make a push. He's going to be looting a little bit of extra loot here. Switches to a Prowler. This man with the SMGs has been on fire today. As we see them holding the breath of fresh air that just happened, all the teams that were fighting, everyone knows nobody has secured the middle just yet, which is definitely a nerve-wracking situation. Let's take a look at Myth Apex and how they're doing over here. They're going to have to fight for this high ground. Let's keep an eye on this. We'll take a look at again, Burt, and see how they're doing in just a hot second. Chambers decides to make a push. Clean R301 spray. Knocking Camper. There's a Gibraltar ult. Gibby has to throw his bubble down. Is he going to throw it down, or is it potentially on cooldown? Goes for the scan. They definitely have the rock for a little bit of cover. He gets fried. Kilo and everyone is just batting, trying to buy some time. There's the Gibby bubble. They're going to use that to rotate in. They're going for the clean 3v3 fight. Caustic throws his ult. This is definitely going to hurt. Strong, massive play, and those shots back-to-back did not miss. Loses, unfortunately, his buddy. Knows that they have to keep fighting here. Dexter gets knocked from the zone. they're just going to have to keep moving in, and they're going to do a quick 180 and check who's behind them and fight in just a hot second. What they're trying to do at this point is just get into the mix of it. Hopefully the other team gets confused what's happening, just go for some extra kills. What they're going to do right after, try to go for some armor swaps. Gibby probably won't have his bubble. He's going to die to zone right here, unfortunately, and that knocks him. EXO comes out as a champion. Strong round as we see across the board. Even split in terms of kills. Nobody is necessarily running away with this championship right now, but it means that a lot of teams are going to come very close to match point. Whew. Good game, too. Let's update the thing here. Afterwards, it's going to be game 3. We're all keeping tabs at home of what's going to occur next. What a fantastic round that we saw played out. We'll take a look at the breakdown and the scores in just a hot second. So EXO came in first there. Total of 7 kills. First place, 12 plus 7. Obviously 19 total points. Puts them in a very strong spot. Myth Apex coming in with a total of 9. 9 plus 9, 18 points. Definitely what they're looking for. Headhunters coming in strong in third place. Again, Burton's team looking pretty strong in fourth. The unfortunate part from Wolfpack Shadow, while they had a massive game at first, came in 20th place. This is not the situation they're looking for. The unfortunate part is that the zone pulled towards them, and they were just not able to really hold and secure their spot. So again, if you guys are enjoying the stream, enjoying the channel, don't forget to leave a like, sub. A lot of things to break down here. A lot of stuff that is happening for APAC South. Very, very exciting. At this point, if you're tuning in, this is a great spot to get yourself a snack, get yourself a drink. What's going to happen? The next lobby is going to start up in just a hot second. We're all going to switch into that lobby, get comfortable, get set up. As teams now are starting to get more points, they're wanting to secure more of the spots. Realize that we saw a Caustic in that last round. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. We'll cover the scores here as well based on game 1. And then we'll update for game 2 in just a hot second. Looks like they started the server. What's the top myth from teaming for Myth? Money. Placement. Listen, as much as we all love our fellow colleagues and friends, there's no reason for them to team up and help in any way, shape, or form when there's a lot of money on the line. And just so you guys are aware, there are contracts, there are things being looked at, and their POVs are being monitored, as well as from our POVs, making sure. And just as you saw, they definitely were frying and doing a lot of damage, and definitely put them in a weird spot and situation. So again, I appreciate all of you guys for being here. We're taking the play-by-play action, and exciting. Exciting. Husky, welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the channel. Let's run down the scores based on game 1. And obviously, we're in game 3 now. Once the scores update for game 2, cover those as well. But let's chat about it. Obviously, from game 1, the points for the top 10 teams that we're looking at, Wolfpack Shadow, after game 1, had 28 points. Myth Apex had 24 points. Lynx had 15 points. Team Dreamfire, 13 points. Myth Apex, 13 points. Red Sea, 11 points. Von Bury, 11 points. Wolfpack Arctic, 10 points. Armory Gaming, 7 points. And Victus, 7. But once they update the points here in just a moment for us, we'll all hop in, take a look. We'll continue to break things down and analyze it. So what we saw at APAC North, again, is we saw a lot of individuals switching to crypto. It's going to be curious, are more teams going to start utilizing the Caustic? And are they going to start utilizing the crypto? Only time will tell. Once we hop into the next round, we're going to see if individuals start to switch up their comp to see what works and what doesn't. So everyone is piling in. Everyone has their codes. Teams are reassessing, looking at the situation, and curious if they're going to switch things up. Yeah, again, Burton was actually doing extremely well. He was frying. We caught a lot of great action. We caught a lot of great plays, a lot of good cleanups. Unfortunately, we probably missed a Red Sea when they were fighting. We would definitely wanted to keep on as much action as humanly possible. So if we do miss a few things, remember this is a BR. A lot of things can happen all at once, and sometimes we may miss some of that action. But again, we're going to shape the narrative. We're going to follow the top teams and making sure. So if we miss a fight that's happening, in the middle of nowhere, while it might be amazing play, if there's a team that has first place right now, we need to keep an eye on them and make sure what plays they're making and if it's going to impact the rest of the lobby. So we will switch to fights and encounters as they're shaping up, as things are occurring. Shrek, it's good to have you here. Let's do a quick shout out while we're at it to everyone in chat who has been here and present. I want to let you guys know that I appreciate all of you. Shrek, thank you so much for being here. Husky, Shredder, FK Austin, Tech Tips, good to have you here. Big Ape, appreciate you as well. Pants, good to have you. Paris. Corn Esports, thank you so much for being here as well. Mispronounced your name, I apologize. Farrell, Rawman, appreciate you as well. It's definitely a lobby full of a lot of individuals and definitely very exciting. So I appreciate all of you guys for being here. And we look forward to hopping into the next round here. I'm just taking a look at the document that is circulated. They are still tallying up scores for the last round. Did you get any update? Trying to see here. Taking a look at the first round, here's a list of teams with extra points. So Myth Apex at last round had 10 points. We'll cover that in just a minute once they finalize it. They're still working on them, so we're not going to report on that at the moment. How many points do they need to finish? They need to be match point at 60 and then win a round. Or if they're at 52 points, they could win the round and be at 60. So once they get there, they're good to go. Please be careful on the spam on the chat. Because that's not helpful for most of them people in the chat as we're catching up with things. But again, remember, there is a 5-minute delay. So please be mindful of that. We're doing shoutouts, and I appreciate all of you guys for being here. Just be mindful there is a 5-minute delay because we are spectating live the tournament. And again, we will experience a little bit of lag. We are covering APAC South. I happen to be East Coast here in the United States. So I may get a little bit of lag here and there. Sometimes you see that everything is looking fine. Everything's looking great. Sometimes there'll be a little lag. But we're giving the English perspective here and commentating best we can for you guys. And again, the reason why there's a delay is it keeps the integrity of the competition best at play, because what's to stop anybody from really watching the stream and giving them information? Dolphin is actually over live on Twitch and giving his POV. If you want to have both streams up at the same time, definitely helpful to do. All right. Teams are all just queuing in at the moment. Setting up, getting comfortable. All right, it looks like we're missing a team here. It looks like they're having just a few technical things, so they're looking into that. And then they'll get started here in just a hot second. This is a great moment for you guys to grab a hot snack, grab yourself a coffee. It happens to be 3 in the morning here, just a FYI. Looks like we are experiencing some technical difficulties on the back end, so it looks like they're reaching out, making some changes, probably most likely to the names. May have to probably change up their names. Only natural. This is only going to happen. See how things shape up and how things are looking. At least this gives a moment for the scorekeepers to update the scores as fast as humanly possible. Give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can get us some updated scores here. And then we'll get started. All right. All right. The only issue that we're experiencing is that individuals are just making sure they can connect to the server, and then we're going to be good to go. Teams are feeling hot. I can just imagine how excited everyone is on the back end, seeing how things are going to shape up. All right. All right, give me 1 second. I'm seeing if we can locate some updated scores. Okay. Looks like we have some scores that are laid out at the moment. I'll verify these in just a hot second, but it looks like Myth T1 is already at 42 points, Wolfpack Shadow at 28, Myth T2 at 25, EXO at 24, Lynx at 20, Headhunters at 18, DF at 18. Looks like Myth T1 is a team that we have to keep an eye on, as well as Wolfpack Shadow. They still have 28 points from the last round. Myth T1 is looking like they're really making a big play here for today. Dexter's teams looks like they're doing very, very well. Thank you so much. Your name? NJ? NJ. Let's go with NJ. Ricky, hello. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. Just a hot second. We're getting into the next round of the tournament here, where this is going to be match 3 of the tournament. And we'll see if individuals change up how they're tackling things. Appreciate you guys. If you guys enjoying the stream, don't forget to leave a like, sub. We definitely put up a lot of guides here on the channel. Exciting the fact that EA let us cover, where again this is live with a 5-minute delay that we're watching from the back end. This is actually, for those that are curious that are from the console side of how this actually works, is that everyone has a private code, they connect, and they hop into the server, and they get set up. Right now, we're experiencing just a little, we usually would have been started by now, but we have a team that is experiencing an issue just connecting to the server. Waiting to see if he can get connected. And it looks like they're starting. Looks like we're going in. Mohammed, it's good to have you here. Welcome to the stream, welcome to the channel. And Alfie, good to have you here. We're about to get started here. A few seconds. So what I'm going to do at the start of the round, we're going to follow Myth's team, because Myth Team 1 was definitely on fire, and they're definitely hot in terms of overall points on the scoreboard. They're looking like they're in first place overall at the moment. We definitely have to keep an eye on them. While they haven't necessarily won, they're definitely securing consistent placement, and all they need to do is get another strong round and then win, and they can technically take this competition home with them. What we have seen is sometimes a team will take match point, and then at that point, other teams will start to change up their tactics, which makes it very difficult for them to take a win. And these lobbies can be definitely difficult. But once this loads up, right now what's occurring is everyone is selecting their legends, everyone's selecting their characters. So when I click here, we did see 2 caustics in the last round. We haven't seen any cryptos in play. We had in APAC North, we saw like 4 or 5 teams switch to crypto. And we saw multiple teams switch over to caustic. This has been very heavy with Wraith, Bloodhound, and Gibraltar, which is expected. And we definitely saw yesterday a team switch to Pathfinder. Perhaps we'll see if Invictus decides to switch it up a little bit. All right, we're underway. Let's take a look at Dexter's team. They're landing Fragment.
Got a good feeling about this area.
Actually, they're switching it up. They're going to staging. I probably miscommunicated that. Let's take a look at Gettenberg. They ping launch site and sorting factory.
Let's land here.
Looks like they're communicating where individuals are landing. Let's go back to Dexter's POV. And I'm going to go to pause the music so we can hear audio and footsteps that's occurring in the background. We're going to keep a hot eye and make sure teams don't 50-50. I don't think they're going to. Everyone's already secured their spot. There's really not a reason to 50-50 right off the rip, except for what we've seen at launch site. The unfortunate part that we've seen at launch site is that teams have been fighting for their spots there, and looks like they're about to go for it again. Once we see a knock over on that POV, we'll definitely switch back over to it. As everyone else looks like they're pretty comfortable. Don't see any hot contesting happening. Let's take a look at Belkin and their team. Looks like they're taking a split still here. Everything's looking fine in their world.
R301 here.
Everything's good. Let's take a look at the Watson team. They're in train yard. Unfortunately, remember, we do get a little lag at the start. I notice it happens at the start once we're connecting, and then definitely starts to smooth out. Don't worry. We're going to switch different POVs, kind of do a check-in to see how teams are doing. And again, while we're experiencing lag, this is live. This is not a recording. If you're watching on YouTube, then of course then it is a recording, but we are live at the moment. So PG, as we saw before, already got knocked right off the rip. Was not actually expecting that to happen that fast. This is not the situation that they want to be in. And I apologize that we're getting a little bit of lag. It's kind of expected. They already secure that kill. They picked them off one at a time. There really was not much of a strong fight there from Full Sense. Full Sense just kind of went down. We're going to, you know what? Going forward to the start of the round, we're going to keep a close eye on PG, or excuse me, yeah, PG as well as Full Sense as they've been going at it. And kind of having the full 50-50 here at launch site. This really is not the situation you want to have in a tournament of this caliber and risking getting 0 points when literally every point matters. So it does kind of surprise me considering nobody has taken Dome. That nobody has, out of these two teams, that they realize that Dome has not been taken and nobody's decided to take Dome. Kind of a little bit of odd split. Maybe they haven't been paying attention, but if I saw based on that drop and taking Dome and not going for the 50-50, honestly, I would probably start to take it because the chances of a team winning when they get knocked out this early start to drop significantly. Let's take a look at Belkin's team. And as you can tell, the lag started to dissipate. We don't have to worry about as much lag, so I apologize we're getting a bit of lag there at the start, but it looks like it's starting to smooth out. So right now, everyone is taking their time looting. Wolfpack Shadow is actually playing it a little closer together. They did split, but it looks like they're saying, you know what, let's take our time crafting. So what's different compared to most tournaments, compared now that you have the crafting station, is that teams will take their time crafting. And the reason why they'll take more of their time crafting here is that they can gather more batteries, more med kits, and these stations, if you're new to APAC, is what they're grabbing to hold. And if you're playing ranked, if you're playing pubs, sometimes it's not a bad idea to kind of stock up if you want to win the round. And most of the time what individuals will do is that they'll ape and they'll W key lobbies for loot. But sometimes when you're at this point of this caliber and placement points really matter, you don't necessarily want to go for the straight kills right off the rip. Let's say Belkin's team right now went to push the team at Refinery for those kills and they died. Or maybe they lost an individual that got hard griefed. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it that early on to go for that fight. That's why you're not seeing it in this tournament. Everyone can aim at this level. It's assumed that everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone has good comms. And sometimes taking that high risk is just not really worth it early on here. So just a little bit of a lowdown of what teams are doing, what their thought process is. And of course, it looks like Backpack is on the menu today in the crafting station. So they got a lot of space. They're going to go for a lot of loot. Skyhook looks like they're in a fight already. I'm Noobles. Unfortunately, this was the individual. This was a team that was experiencing lag issues. And they're going for the res. He doesn't have his Gibby bubble. He probably should have waited. He might accidentally go through the port. Let's see if it actually happens. And he does. The unfortunate part here is that you have to wait before you res a little bit to get... Otherwise, if you do it right away, obviously the issue you run into is that you will see the res push right back into the port. So there are knocks also occurring, but I want to see how they're going to handle the situation and if they're going to get out of it. So they are backing out of this fight and taking the high ground. This is not a bad position to be in up top here. This is going to garner them some points. The team does have low ground, so they're probably going to rotate to a building and secure that building and just kind of hang out and chill. Let's take a look at the Gibraltar's point of view.
Let's check out this way.
And they're actually they're giving up their high ground here. They want to secure a building. They are confident that this is going to pull a different location, and what they're doing here is that they're saying, you know what, we believe the zone is going to pull to a different location than what we're seeing here. They don't think it's going to end Skyhook, and they want to set themselves up for success. It's respectable. It makes sense of why they're doing it. While ideally you want to go for placement, they're making the hard decision to see how they can hard gate teams. Let's switch over to Dexter. Dexter's already getting a kill in. Came in just in time as he was frying with the R301. The minute this man has an R301 in his hands with a 1x2, seems to be his go-to for today. He's definitely securing some damage. And it looks like he's already got a knock, and they're probably going to push over on this team. take a quick look at their POV. Looks like they're fighting Red Sea here. Let's go back to Dexter as he's the one frying and doing the most damage. So I want to keep a close eye to see if he's going to do a massive play that we're going to catch here on today's tournament. Looks like they're getting charge rifled at an angle. They did have the knock. See where he's knocked. Looks like, no, they did hard grief it, and they're just going to rotate. They're just going to go for the rotation. They know that if they push this while they're on white armors at the moment, it may not be worth going for that extra kill. He's close to blue armor. He's got 34 points before it, as well as 25 and 64. So they definitely want to get into another fight before anything happens. Let's take a quick look at EXO here in just a hot second. It was just a small knock. Let's just hold this POV. We're going to wait as teams rotate. Team over in the south is not going to get into a fight. I'm curious. Let's hold on to Myth here. Actually, Belkin just got into a fight here. Let's switch over to Belkin's POV. They got a knock. We're going to hold here. It's just one knock at the moment. It's just from the high ground. All they're doing is pecking. It's not like we lost a whole lot of information. He's going for the kidnap, or he's going to go for the quick kill. Clean shots with the EVA 8. He's going to go for the cleanup. What he's probably going to do right after, he's going to go for the armor swap, and he's going to loot as much armor as he can, and then go right up top. His buddies are going to cover him from up top, probably calming, saying, what loot do you need? What can I grab? And I'm going to come right back up. So good play by them. Good cleanup. The issue that they have here is that they're going to be in a pickle here as they're getting shot in the back and the front. So they're most likely going to use the Gibby bubble as a play to push up. As you can see, there's the Gibby bubble as expected, as mentioned before. They're nading. He's got the Gibby bubble. He's going to pop a heal, and he's going to make a push here with some nades. Another fight is happening across the map. We're going to hold here, though. I want us to see how this full fight plays out. I know Myth Kilos is down, but we want to see how Belkin's team is going to handle the situation, considering they really don't have much time, and they need to secure this as fast as humanly possible. They know they can't stay for much longer. They have to finish this fight, or else they're going to be losing a lot of points here in terms of cells and losing a lot of resources. All they're doing at this point is they're trying to secure a crack. So teams aren't just going to full on ape and be, oh, there's the damage. The other team may make a push on this. I'm going to switch POV here as they're going to be covering for him. And they said, I'm burning. I got potential crack on the way. And do I make a play here? So no teams are in the back. This is a full 3v3 situation here. The Gibby's healing. He gets a scan out. And the Gibby says, you know what? I'm going to take a different angle and go for some damage here. They have to clean this up really quickly, though, in the next at least 30 seconds. If they don't, ooh, a lot of damage there. He's calling some fries. He knows that that other person has to heal. This is a strong 3v2 situation. Good R301 damage. It looks like they're going to mop this up. He actually gets knocked from the other angle. This was not the cleanup that they were expecting and hoping for. Bunny hops back. Goes for the bat. So what they're doing is a hard resetting here. He's going for the res. He's forcing him to make the push. He doesn't see him on this right angle. He realizes at the last second. He gets a re-knock. He saw that as he was crossing. He definitely could have done a lot more damage. And there's a cleanup. Pretty nervous on their end of what could have happened there. Let's switch over to Myth and see how they're doing, because I know that they were getting shot from an angle. But it looks like there wasn't too much action here that we necessarily missed. It looks like they were just trying to rotate and they just caught out of position. So it's a good thing we kept on that fight that was occurring up there. Trying to go for the charge rifle damage. Unfortunately, just gets a little pecking damage. They do get the respawn. The scary part here is anyone going to push them? Are they going to push them in this situation? And it looks like they're going to get their stuff for free. Good recovery on Myth's team overall, especially considering that if they win this round, that this is going to be a massive, massive play on for them. We'll see if they manage to clutch this out. Again, reminder, this is a 5-minute delay, and the reason for that is we are covering this live as it's happening in real time, and to make sure that nobody from any opposing team is watching it. Same thing as those that are commentating it, that there is a delay of what's occurring. I'm keeping a close eye on them. Let's go right back over to
Let's go this way.
Jen Burton to see how they're doing. They're rotating in a bit late here at another angle. As you can see, he's got his trusty Volt and R99. You'll notice that what happens with a lot of pro players is that once they find their weapon combo is that they don't switch from it. I happen, once I have my weapon combo, I don't happen to switch from it either once I know my role and the support that I play. Looks like Jin Burton is very comfortable with the Volt and the R99. It looks like his teammates, especially the Wraith, runs the Volt or EVA 8. We saw them running as well, and R301, which can be really strong for close range encounters. Let's take a look at Jin Burton. He needs to get up close and personal. He doesn't necessarily have amount of resources, and you know what he says? He's going for the Wraith port. They really actually need to take this fight because I feel like they're kind of hurting on resources. But they need a clean knock or something before they can do anything. So they're just looking for an angle. They're looking to peek. They're looking who they can edge out. So what they're doing right now is they're scouting for information. They're not necessarily just wandering willy-nilly. They're looking to say who's nearby. There's shots. He heard it over to the right. He knows they're over there. He's going to take this port, check in the center here, see what's in there. He's scouting for information, is going back, and he's going to ask his teammates to see what in the world is going on in the tunnel. They really can't stay here. They're going to get picked on from every angle. There's some big damage in. Looks like he's inting at that point. He knows that he's hurting. Recovers that. Wonder what was going on in that guy's head, unfortunately, as he was rotating in. Was he just running away, rotating in? Very unfortunate situation. They take the port. It disappears on him. Very frustrating. That can't be good. He sees the team from across the way. Guarantee that he's definitely frustrated from that situation. Dexter is down. Let's switch to that POV real quick. There's a res here. They're fighting. Let's take a look at Dexter and see how they're going to recover from this situation. It looks like the only reason he was knocked was the reason he was just caught out of rotation, which is expected. Keep in mind, they have a hard rotation. They have to keep moving because they got a minute, 15 seconds here. They have to move here in a minute and 15 seconds, and they know they can't stay here, or else it's going to be really rough for them. This is a top contender. This is our first place team, so we have to keep a close eye on them and see how they're going to clutch this out. I guarantee there's definitely plays happening, but I want to keep an eye because they have 54 seconds to make a decision, make a play, and they have to bamboozle and run through two different teams, especially considering we were looking at Jin Burton, who's definitely sitting in the tunnel here, where they have to power through them. They have a massive uphill battle to go through here.
Might be something good this way.
Jin Burton's team's going to hard hold this angle. Let's go back to Dexter and see how they're going to take this situation. They're going to hard rotate all the way around. But a team knows that they're going to hard rotate, and they say, you know what, let's take them. They use the Pathfinder zip up. Fortunately, actually, wrong team. There's additional Pathfinder in there, so I apologize. I got the wrong team there. So we definitely have an additional Pathfinder in play. I thought there was only one Pathfinder in play. We definitely have another Pathfinder in play, so let's take a look what team that is just based on the scoreboard here. He's on the roof of this building over here. And they're letting him get the rotation? They're letting him have that rotation. They back out of the situation. Let's switch over to Jin Burton. It looks like they're going for a fight here. This is about to get really interesting. Let's switch over to Dexter's point of view. They're about to sneak up right behind him. Things are getting really intense here. Jin Burton team has to be aware of what's about to happen, especially as they start to sandwich. This team right in the center is about to get sandwiched extremely hard. Goes for some entry damage with the R31. Dexter is definitely frying today, which we're keeping a close eye on. This is going to be a lot of damage here. They can't stay long in zone, and they're aware of this. Team's in the center. Going to use his Q to lower the amount of damage that he has. The Gibby has to throw his bubble here in a moment just to provide some space for them. Let's switch over to Jin Burton as he's doing a lot of damage. Catching teams out of position. Let's go back to Dexter. Dexter looks like they're sitting comfortable. Let's go back to Jin Burton. They're checking to see if a team's going to rotate behind them. They are not. Let's go back to Dexter and see how they're doing holding. We're in a holding pattern now. Everyone is holding. Everyone is holding. Everyone has a massive uphill battle. This team is in the center holding. Everyone, the scariest part here is this side of the map is very open. This is not the most comfortable situation to be in. Let's take a look over at Jin Burton. Looks like they're rotating in. They're saying, you know what? It's time to 8. It's time to make a play here and time to push. He gets a knock on Scoot.
Let's go this way.
Calm before the storm, ladies and gentlemen. This is what happens. This is definitely the calm before the storm. Looks like we're going to have a MIF team run into another MIF team. The team is center. They could throw their Gibby ult up there. He's gonna scan. He says, you know, there's 4 hostiles. There's one over to the right.
Listen, let's move here.
They're looking to push this out. He's trying to get some entry level damage here. They really can't make a play. Knowing that this team, what they're going to have to capitalize on, what they're most likely going to do is they're going to wait for them to jump down and get some free kills. And there it is. They got the rat. They're going to take his armor, take his stuff, take his shoes, take his clothes, take everything that they need. That's an arc star. Going to split up the team a bit. And what they're going to do is they're going to wait for them. We know there's a lot of action across the map that's taking place. We can definitely switch to it in just a hot second. But we need to see how this is going to shape up and take place, because this is going to also mean for Myth as well. Both Myth teams definitely high up on the scoreboard is why we're keeping a close eye on them. Let's switch POVs because the action is now over here. Jen Burton on fire today, my gosh. And unfortunately gets knocked. That's not the situation we want to see them in. We'll switch over to the Gibraltar, who's getting fried. He's going to pump Phoenix. He's got no time. As soon as he has his Phoenix, he just has to run. Looks like Jen Burton's going to be left behind, unfortunately. It's not due to aim and whatsoever. This is just an uphill battle, which is why we're watching this. He's going for the res. He's got a gold bag. What a ballsy play. He gets the res. This is the type of play and big brain that we're looking at here, ladies and gentlemen. Love to see it. Great recovery, quick thinking, quick port, great synergy, great performance overall that we're seeing. And he gets fried. The poor Pathfinder, that's revenge on them. We see the teams holding here. Gets a crack, gets knocked. We switch POV. A lot of clean damage. The zone is going to be ticking quite hard. Jim Burton's holding and frying left and right. This angle is massive for them. All they got to do is recover. And the curious part, is anybody going to push them? Most likely they're not. No team in the right mind would push them from down below. So they're most likely going to have this for free. And unfortunately, Dexter's team did get knocked, but we did capture a lot of action occurring here as they mopped up quite a few teams.
Hostile close.
And we're going to see how they shape up. Let's take a look at
Let's go this way.
Low Key's team. They have a different angle here. They're on the low ground, unfortunately. Let's switch over to Red Sea, see how they're doing. Red Sea is most likely going to be the team that runs into Myth Team 2. Yes, it is. Let's take a look at Jen Burton. He already fried them and said, you know, I got a crack. Are we going to push on this? And they're getting picked on from above as well. A lot of action taking place right now. They have an uphill battle. They got 35 seconds. You got Red Sea, who's definitely said, do we contest them? We have to push in. And then we also have Jim Burton's team,
We should go here.
who's hard gating them as they come in. They need to make a decision. Do they go on the left or do they push Jim Burton's team here?
Enemy spotted.
I'm going to take a look at Jim Burton because he may... No, they're actually not going to scan. They're going to go right for this. They're just going to move on right on up. They're looting for some extra loot. And they have the hardest rotation in. They've had the hardest rotation going in so far, and they've navigated it beautifully thus far. Even some situations that you would say are almost impossible to get through, but they've played this pretty smart. There's a rat here, and it looks like they're just going to fry him out. He Qs, they gibby bubble, and they try to recover just to buy themselves some time. They're going to get picked on from every which angle, so the question that we have to ask here, are they going to be able to hold this? Popping some cells, now the gibby bubble's on cooldown. Are they going to be left alone? Who are they going to hard gate as they all come in? Jim Burton taking a different angle here. Gibby bubble's thrown out. They do a scan. Teams are getting knocked left and right. And all they have to do is hold. Once that gibby bubble goes down, that team is going to get picked on. He's rezzing. He's rezzing. They're waiting for the gibby bubble to drop. They're going right back in the zone. Myth Team 2's here, snagging a lot of kills in just a hot second. They have the high ground. They drop the gibby bubble to buy themselves some time. They have the high ground on them, though. Got a gibby bubble versus gibby bubble fight. They're just going to recover. They now have the high ground equal footing with them. It's not the situation they want to be in, and they're backing up just a little bit. But gives the other team a lot more confidence to push. They're really stuck here in this angle. We have 5 teams remaining, 14 squads left. And we see all the Bloodhound scans all go off. Nothing but scanning. So what they did is they switched helmets there. They most likely gave it to the Wraith. No, they gave it to the Gibby, which makes sense for the bubble. They need to get those bubbles as much as humanly possible. They look like they're out of cells. Switch over to Jim Burton as he's been the one frying. He's got the close range stuff. Team up above is struggling. They're going to push on this with a Gibby Bubble. Gibby Bubble versus Gibby Bubble. You know what? They're going to say this isn't worth it. They're really struggling for resources. They really can't hard commit on any of these fights. This is going to be very difficult for them. They can't hard commit on this. The reason why? You take a look at their ammo situation. It's not looking nice. It's not looking pretty. There's the port. Does a scan just to identify what is going on. Just taking a quick look at the scoreboard for number of kills. They go up. They're going to have to follow up right behind them. They're looking to see if there's a spot here, and they're going to have to go up, and they're just going to unfortunately lose in this situation. Let's switch over to Wolfpack Arctic, because they're the ones pushing into the building. Let's switch over to Zera. Zera's going for the armor switch. Can he clutch something out here? No, he cannot, unfortunately. Let's switch over to Lynx's team, who has to be the healthiest here. They flank behind. Goes for some entry-level damage. One squad. I think this is the last individual remaining. And that secures him the win. Very nice. We are spectating, Michael, by the way. We're spectating. What a game. What a game there, ladies and gentlemen. So we're shoutcasting the event. This is happening live. We are on a 5-minute delay. Big game. Big game. But for those that are tuning in, watching, we are live. We're on a 5-minute delay. This is APAC South. Channel for TE allowing me to have a spectator spot just to hop in, commentate, help teach you guys maybe a little bit about Apex, commentate, help you guys understand. Let's take a look at the breakdown here. Lynx came in first place in that one. This is a massive kill game for them, 5, 4, and 2. So 11 kills plus 12. Massive point game, 23 total points there for them. Myth Arctic did pretty decent. Myth Apex had an uphill battle for their team too. Jin Burton definitely did what they could. As you can tell, I'm really surprised on how they managed to res and clutch that out. Unfortunately, Wolfpack Shadow has not been able to keep up their consistency in terms of performance. This can be really anybody's game, but this is actually still big for the overall teams and roster. All right, but welcome back to the channel for those that are tuning in and watching. We're going to hop into the next lobby here in just a second. Let's update the match number. We are now on game 4. Take a refresh and see how the scores are being tallied up here in just a second. Okay. So scores are being tallied in real time at the moment. I'll hit refresh and I'll try to give you guys a play-by-play in just a hot second. And let me hop into the lobby, so 2 seconds. Alright, we'll get in. Ladies and gentlemen, again, reminder, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're enjoying the commentary, as well as if we're doing a halfway decent job of keeping track of everything and all the madness that's happening. We had a lot of people stop by on the stream yesterday. Today's stream has definitely been great. We're already in game 4, and it's been pretty great. So let's give a shout out for those that are in chat. Imperial Khan, good to have you here. Big Ape. Harsh, good to have you here as well. Rayon, good to have you here. Sarias, thank you so much for being here. Maro, Alfie, Muhammad, and everyone who's tuning in and watching. Appreciate all you guys for watching, supporting the channel. Every little bit helps support everything that we do here. So we'll see now that teams are getting closer to match point if they're going to change up their playstyle, if they're going to change. Interesting comparison compared to APAC North versus South. And if you would like, you can see APAC's VOD yesterday that we commentated on. But APAC North yesterday ran a lot more cryptos, a lot more caustics. But curious to see if anybody breaks the mold. We did see an additional Pathfinder brought onto the roster for the past round. It was very much interesting to see. So what's occurring right now, if you want to take a moment, we understand that a lot of time put in. We're going to keep an eye this next round on Full Sense Esports as well as PG to see if they're going to 50-50 it off the rip. Nobody wants a 50-50. I'm really surprised they stick with it. Curious if one team is going to go dome. Why has one team not gone dome? That is a massive question that I have for them. Curious why nobody is making the break off and not gone for the... instead of just going for a consistent 50-50. Sometimes it's just not worth it at this team, the level in this caliber. Right, Let's see if the scores are updated, and we're going to keep track to see who's in first place. Fresh. So right now, MIF T1 is still in the lead, and it looks like it's still being updated from round 4. So it's not all quite there. Looks like the highest scores are being tallied. Everyone's doing tallying the scores as fast as humanly possible for us to kind of keep track of. 2 seconds. Righty. Don't forget to get up, walk around, stretch your legs. We're in for a ride today as we see teams start to get pretty close and start to clutch this out. So very exciting. So again, if you're just tuning in, we are on game 4. And the scores are still being updated currently for round 3. Everyone's reconnecting. Everyone's reassessing their situation. It's interesting to see how these teams hold their angles, the plays that they're making. Phenomenal to see how a gold bag can make the biggest difference of a make and break, as we saw last round from Myth's team, how they managed to get the res off despite having very little time and how they managed to hold angles. So big plays by them. Red Sea coming in clutch with some big plays on their end. And we need to see if Wolfpack Shadow is going to be able to continue to clutch it up. Teams are going to continue 50-50. If Dector's aim is still going to be on point, and how other team and rosters are going to clutch out. If we see somebody popping off in the lobby, we're definitely going to keep a close eye on them. See which kill leader switches up. And of course, as a reminder, if there's any team specifically you would like me to keep an eye on, we'll definitely add them into the rotation as we keep an eye on. So what we're doing to kind of shape the narrative as we continue to commentate on the tournament, I'm keeping an eye on the teams that are placing top scores. So the top 5 teams are going to be kind of rotating to and keeping an eye on, as they're going to be the most impactful of the tournament thus far. So if we're looking at the top 5 teams, let's take a quick look to see if the scores have updated. The top 5 teams that we need to keep an eye on. We need to keep an eye on EXO, Myth, Lynx, Wolfpack Shadow, and Myth Team 2. We'll keep an eye as well as DF and Red Sea because they're still in 6. This page just got updated. Perfect. All right. So in first place right now, we have Myth T1 at 46 points. Myth Team 2, or EXO, at 33 points. Lynx at 32. Wolfpack Shadow, 30. And Myth Team 2 at 29. So Jin Burton's team has been frying, making a lot of strong rotations, but we definitely need to see them get some higher placement for more consistency. They're right in the smack dab in the middle in terms of points, and they can definitely secure quite a bit more. We'll see how that continues to shape up. Right now, the scores are being updated in real time. We'll continue to give you guys an update and play-by-play. But those are the teams we definitely have to keep an eye on. But as a reminder, let me know of who to keep track of, who you guys want to take a look at. Overall on the roster, we're keeping an eye on the top teams at the moment and where the consistency is. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe. Shout out to EA again for hooking us up, letting us spectate. This is live on a 5-minute delay. And the reason a 5-minute delay is because we have to keep in mind the competitive integrity of the competition. We don't want anybody to go messaging an individual, letting them know where they're landing and what's going on. If you're curious on the current scoreboard, this is a good place to check. If you scroll down on that list, you will see the results. It takes a little time for them to update, but they do a fantastic job of updating it, and you can see the scores and points there. So in between, I'll post that there, and we'll keep a close eye. So tally points just updated. So what we're looking at, because sometimes they could be a little behind as well, Myth Apex has a total of 46 points. Lynx has a total of 43 points. EXO has 41 points. Wolfpack Shadow at 38. Myth Apex Team 2, 34. Wolfpack Arctic at 22. And Headhunters at 21. So what does this mean? It means that to be at match point, Myth Apex has to get 4 points, which is the equivalent placement of 5th. Lynx has to get 7 points for the equivalent placement of 3. EXO needs 9 points, equivalent placement 2. And then Wolfpack Shadow, equivalent placement 1st place. So can definitely start to see things change. This next round is going to definitely be eye-opening as we see a lot of teams approach match point, how things are going to get pretty intense. "30 seconds until we start." I actually, just so you understand the delay, I just actually typed in chat. Appreciate you joining me on the journey today. We're about to begin. I'm excited as we get into round 4. Right off the rip, I'm going to take a close eye on PG, as well as Full Sense, to see if they're going to 50-50 right off the rip. What do you think of Octane? He's a great player to play in pubs. Very difficult, as you can tell, on a competitive standpoint because of the utility. At the start, that's a great segue what we're going to talk about of why the pros are using Bloodhound, Wraith, and Gibraltar, and see if anybody's switching it up. We may see more Caustics. We may see more Cryptos. The reason why Octane isn't used is that Gibraltar and Wraith are extremely powerful, extremely strong, and you want a Bloodhound, a Pathfinder, anything along those lines to provide utility, to provide scans, to provide the ability for circles, and now we're underway. We have a really close top 5 situation, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get ready for the next round. I hear Red Sea. Also a fantastic Apex Legends player. All right, everyone's picking their legends. Settle on in. Go grab yourself a water. Grab yourself a snack. Let's get ready for the next round. This is going to be a pretty strong round, a very big deciding factor for a lot of teams, because the pressure of Game 5 is really where we see match points start to take place. So we really need to see how Game 4 shapes up here as we approach match point and see where things start to head. So again, we're going to follow Full Sense Esports because they have been contesting. Looks like they finally made a decision to go Dome. Finally made a decision. I'm going to mute real quick. You probably see a little lag. That's perfectly fine. And it looks like they discovered that Dome is free. And the question is, are they going to 50-50 right off the rip? I don't think they're going to. I think the other team is going to take launch site. And one team is Lava City. It looks like everything is right in the world. Looks like we're not going to see the full 50-50 right off the rip as we were seeing before. Let's take a look at PG. In just a hot second. I also want to see where EXO is landing here. EXO has been landing Fragment East, and they're very close to zone, and this could be potentially a very big game for them, knowing that where the rotation is going.
Wingman here. Brothers, got an Evo shield here. Level 2.
Let's take a look at PG, and let's take a look at the overall board and see if there has been any changes in terms of comp. So we see that we have 2 Pathfinders in play. We have 2 Pathfinders in play. We have a Caustic. Looks like one team was additionally running Caustic. Looks like they switched off of it. Looks like we have a full-on lobby full of nothing but Bloodhound, Wraith, and Gibraltar, which is a massive shift compared to what we saw. And keep in mind, there is a bit of lag that I've always been experiencing at the start for these individuals, so I apologize for that. We are broadcasting this live, so the servers may experience lag. This is not on a delay on the spectator side for the servers, and we are streaming from APAC. And I'm from the East Coast, so there might be a little lag at the start, so I apologize for that.
7 scout here.
But after a while, as you can tell, it smooths out and perfectly fine. Everything's good in the world. Let's take a look at Belkin's team. It looks like, unfortunately, they got it to a fight at Lava City. Wow, and he goes for the grief. Unfortunately, does not secure the grief. Headhunters keeps Lava City. Probably the only action that we really saw at the start here. They've been running as a team of 2. It's not the situation you want to be in. Don't really know what's been going on there, why they're running as a team of 2. You know, maybe they're just hard flexing, saying we're just a team of 2. But nonetheless, good effort, the fact that they're fighting for it. The team at Dome has heard them. By the way, this is Full Sense, who's heard this action from a distance, and they're trying to assess the situation and saying, do we third party that? They probably didn't realize that it was a team of 2 that got knocked. Right now, this is the quiet before the storm. We have 1:23 before the zone closes. We have 56 members in the lobby in play and 19 squads alive. So right now what's happening is everyone is scanning the beacons. They're looking where the zone is heading. And they're making their rotations. Like I said, EXO is in a very good spot from their angle. They see where the zone is ending. They know it's most likely going to pull around the refinery end. Notice how they ping that. As we're talking in real time, we are in their heads right with them. We know the reason why they're pinging that is that I've seen time and time again the zone pulls that way. So for those that are new to Apex, and you're probably playing this game a lot and asking, how in the heck can you know that that's where that's going to pull? Well, most pros will take a look at where the beacons are. The beacon happens to still be in zone here. It's not on the epicenter beacon, so they have to think that it has to pull over on the right side direction. This is not going to pull towards the epicenter side, because based on what happens with a lot of pro players, that you see a lot of these zones close consistently. Time and time again, you start to get a rhythm and start to get a flow of where things are going to pull. And look how other teams are definitely pulling over to that same spot. Everyone, their grandmother wants to show up. They're taking their shots. Looks like one is already flush. See an early fight here from Team EXO. The Bloodhound is going for the ult, and he's full sending, and he's saying, I'm going to go for some big damage here. See a knock from Zero. Big play here. Bloodhound's taking a different angle, taking height, trying to go for an R301 big play. Does not get the damage. Gets shot from a different angle, says, I'm not going that angle. Let's switch over to the Wraith POV. She's up in center, taking lead. She's taking the loot. Let's switch back. It looks like we're back in holding. They know they really can't full-on ape this. They want to secure a spot. They really don't want to just sit here in the open. They need to look for a spot to hunker down and get comfortable, because it's going to be a long round. Let's take a look how Myth's team is doing. Our other top team, they're rotating a little late from train yard. They got a long road ahead of them. They have not scanned a beacon. They don't really know where it's going to end. They're taking a guess here. Tuned in just in time for Dexter's team. Jin Burton is frying again. This is another top 5 team on the scoreboard. He doesn't hear the audio on the left. He does hear it, actually. He goes for a massive fry. Aim is on point. He goes for some damage. Unfortunately, his teammates are dead. Goes for a quick knock here. Can he clutch this out? This is an uphill fight for him. It's going to be very difficult for him. Aim is not the answer here all the time. He has to wait. The team is getting third party. Jin Burton is in a really rough situation. And he just have to back out from the encounter and fight. Let's take a look at Headhunters, as they were the ones encountering, and they're the ones backing out as well from the situation. Everyone is just deciding to run away, which I do not blame them. There is a port there. There is a lot of fight going on. Let's take a look at SF in just a hot second, see how they're doing.
We should go here.
They're full sending this. They're probably going to finish some knocks, even though they weren't their kills, and they're just going to steal all their gear. They're upgrading. They're getting gear. As we can see, this is rough for Myth Apex Team 2 here. As they get knocked, and they have to realize that they have to rotate. The teams over here in the center are just hunkering down. They're not going to fight. No reason for them to fight. But these teams on the outskirts have every reason to fight, and the reason he was using the balloon there, he's scouting for information. He knows it was a bloodbath that occurred here. There was a lot of knocks, so all he has to do is just see if anybody's running, and all they're going to do is hard gate this. Potentially the Bloodhound could use his ultimate to look for people, but it would be kind of a waste of an ult. Punches the air out of a misclick. Happens to the best of us. They're waiting to see if they can see anybody at any different angle.
Might be something
And they're just going to
different.
fly in. So Jin Burton has a decision here. He can. This is only the first zone, so he could technically get all his banners of his buddies and res. Probably the most action we're going to see at the moment. There is a team fight possibly going up at the top here. We'll probably switch over to that. I believe that team is probably going to be Red Sea. Let's take a quick look. No, Red Sea is actually over in Countdown. If that team gets a knock, gets a fight, we'll definitely switch over to that POV in just a hot second.
Hostile spotted.
Target spotted.
Taking a look at PG as they're also in a potential fight here. Big Z is the fight that took place with Headhunters. They got the res here. Puts Jin Burton in a really weird spot as he has to keep rotating in. Let's go back over to Perry's team, who actually has the north side, and let's take a look at PG. PG is probably the most likely to get into a fight here, so we're going to keep a close eye on them. Everything is converging right now, and they're sandwiched, so let's keep an eye and see if they manage to make a massive play here and clutch something out, or if they're just going to get out with the port and reposition. He wants to get this med kit off and recover, but definitely very difficult for him to do so. To see a lot of teams about to fight here. They know they have to rotate and they have to make a hard decision.
Heads up. Check out this way.
We'll switch POV in just a hot second. I want to sit, make sure we don't miss any hot plays, any action. We'll switch over to that Gibraltar. He's the one covering. And they're just going to keep rotating in. Let's take a look at Team Dreamfire, as they're the team that's actually up here. Team Dreamfire going in for the fight here. They only have they have 2 minutes, so they have time to take this fight. They do have time. And they're aware of that. But they know that they can't get cracked here. And they do see a knock that's taken place. He's going to use his heal to kind of push in just a little bit. They're going to hard gate this fight. Gibby ult goes out. Clean damage there, 69. Some people could definitely like that number for unknown reasons. He sells up, he heals up, he goes for a scan, make sure that nobody's on his left. This team is now getting picked on. They're probably going to have to just go for zone. Jin Burton does go down, unfortunately. He did get caught out. Just as an FS did find him. We knew that would probably happen. It was going to be a hard rotation for him. This team is just going to back out from the encounter. They're going to let them fight it out there, and they're going to back out. Let's take a quick look at the scoreboard, see how people are doing. Take a look at Red Sea. They're rotating in. They're on the south side of them. This team is going to rotate and get out. Notice how they're porting. They're porting on the other side and using the port because they don't want to fight this. They need to get into zone. Once teams notice the counter is around 50 seconds, they realize that it's no longer worth it anymore. Let's take a look at Wolfpack Arctic here. It looks like one of them got knocked, unfortunately. Well, it must have been from the rotation side. He's probably going to try to take the port back. So we're not missing a whole lot of action here. What's happening is that you're seeing members die from attrition, which is normal. Attrition is normal. That's going to happen from rotating. And sometimes you just have hard spots that you have to rotate out of. Let's take a look at Red Sea because they're going to run into Red Sea, potentially. Red Sea is going to rotate in. They're going to run into the team in the north there. Let's go back to Wolfpack Arctic. We just caught back just in time as he fries them. Another clean damage, and he's going to go in on this. He's got gold armor, so he's going to probably bunny hop his way in. Pulls out his Mastiff. He says, I'm going to secure some damage. Clean stuff with the Mastiff. He's going to finish the kill. He's got 53. He's only got a little bit of time left before they have to rotate. Let's take a look at the Gibby. Zone is closing. They have to move in. Let's take a look at Red Sea.
Making contact with enemy.
Because Red Sea is about to run into this other team. They see them, they scan them, they're aware of their presence. We're going to hold here and see if they manage to clutch them out and hard gate them because they're the ones rotating in much sooner. Charge rifle damage, clean damage early on. Potential opening for them. Let's switch POV. Gibby bubble fight. This is where the 1v1. They're using that because they are aware that the Gibby bubble will not last through the whole ult. They'll have no choice but to stay there. And they cannot move. Which is what they want. They want them to be hard gated. Hard damage from the Gibby ult. Now they're going to come in for some damage. The Caustic did throw his ult, did a little bit of damage, not enough to make him much of a difference, unfortunately. Good damage to the R301, the 3X. Very clean, very, very good to use. Fan favorite among pros, by the way. 3X and the R301. They know they're right below them. This is clean damage, clean cracks. Exactly what they're looking for. And they're using the caustic gas to hopefully hard gate them out. They see them, they catch him out. Clean damage. He's going to take some damage from zone. He's right behind the rock. Let's see if they have a nade to catch him out. There's the nade. We're going to wait to see what they decide to do. They're just waiting. They're waiting to capture them out. And I popped up the map just to make sure we're not missing any other fights. This is probably the most action that's occurring. Everyone's hard holding. There is a fight potentially happening in the south. We're not going to switch to it. I want to see how this fight from Red Sea happens to take place. There's the Gibby bubble out, and they might disengage from it. And now they're sandwiched right between, and DF gets a strong knock on Ross. He's going to use the port. The other team realizes the knock happened, comes in. Port was not fast enough to save him. Let's switch POV here. Bunny Hop is just running, gets knocked. Switch over to RS. Goes to the port. Let's take a look at Bird's POV. Those are the ones that now in the mix of this, in the thick of it. The armor situation is not ideal, but they could definitely take this fight to level up their armors. Let's take a look at EXO. EXO is definitely getting into the mix of it. When do they show up? They're taking shots from a distance. This is really messing them up. This is not what they're looking for. This is not the situation they want to be in. The fact that they're being hard gated from a distance with a triple take. Let's go back to Wolfpack Arctic and see how they're handling this situation, as they're going to hard gate in the back over here as well. Being damaged. They're just capturing people out. This was a duo squad, and they're going for this kill over here. This is going to be just a quick kill. They need to clean that up fast, and they do. Let's go back to EXO and see how they're hard gating. They're seeing all the damage from the third-person point of view over here. Let's take a look at Wolfpack and see how they're doing again. They need to do a 180 and fight these teams that are in the thick of it. I'm curious of why they haven't done so. That's why I switched over to their POV. Let's go to SF, as they're on the south side, getting into some action here as well. Lots of fights are happening right now. As you can tell, everyone is literally in the thick of it, and everyone is fighting, and things are getting crazy. So, as we were looking at before with Thon Esport, how things are looking at here, is we're going to see a lot of attrition here. All the teams are rotating, and a lot of teams are just getting caught out. The team that's going to massively benefit, as you saw before, is definitely EXO. Some clean damage. You saw that was the gold armor. By the way, that gold armor was definitely from Wolfpack's team. Got the 180. Unfortunately, Wolfpack goes out. Let's take a look at Arctic, though, as they're right in the same vicinity. So the team that went out was Wolfpack Shadow. Now let's take a look at Wolfpack Arctic. They're just going to hold here. They're most likely not going to push out. There's no reason for them. They're just going to pick some extra damage and hold. Let's take a look at EXO and see how they're doing. So EXO has a pretty prime spot here. They've been picking on everyone who's hard rotating. We haven't really seen a clean 3v3 fight. It's mostly just been people, mass hysteria everywhere, picking from every single which angle. And FS, as we saw from the south side, is got a Kraber in play and knocking people from a distance. We see a lot of long-range action taking place. So you see triple take taking place. Let's take a look at Wolfpack, make sure that they're still holding their angle, and they are. They're really hurting. Let's take a look at the Wraith. 81 damage in with the Mastiff. He backs up. The other Bloodhound gets shot in the back. That's exactly what they needed to stay alive. Luckily, he's got gold armor to heal up. He's not going to use the Gibby Bubble. Gibby Arm Shield going back and forth, and you guarantee he's going to be out in this situation. There's no way. He gets the knock. He uses a Q, moves in. A very nice play from Zera from Wolfpack Arctic. He's got gold armor. He's going to go for the med kit. And now he has the high ground in this situation. Pretty strong situation in that part. Big play. I guarantee the team down below is definitely trying to go for the res at the moment, trying to recover, and nervous of where he's at. Hear footsteps right behind him. He's going to rotate in. So those teams are all fighting. Everyone is kind of now a little stagnant, which is okay. He gets scanned out. They realize where he ran into. We're going to hard hold here and see if he manages to clutch this out. Massive damage, 113. That's a massive play at that point. That team is reevaluating their life. He is hard holding this angle and making it very difficult. They have the one-up situation, but they do not have the high ground. And he's making some big plays as a solo here. I have to say, I'm taking a look at the leaderboard, make sure we're not missing any kills. A lot of kills are very spread out among many, many teams, as you could tell from the scoreboard. Not a team that's necessarily taking off and running away with it at the moment, but that can change at any moment. EXO does have prime positioning here. Still from their angle, let's go back to Xeris. So he's going to hard hold this angle. Most likely not going to be much action on that angle, and we're going to switch POVs in just a hot second. Let's see if FS is still doing well with their trusty Kraber. They are, and they have to hard rotate in. So let's take a look at FS because they're the furthest back in the situation, and he's got a Kraber. Let's see if we can get a nice hot shot and some hot Kraber action here in just a moment.
Deathbox here.
Rotating in, he's got the Kraber in hand. There it is. Does not get the Kraber. He's going to have to just pop a Q and run. The Gibraltar has to cover for him. He's getting frightened. He's probably going to drop his Gibby bubble, and he actually gets knocked. But he does have his trusty Kraber right in hand. And he's going to slide in and try to hope that he can rat. The team's peeking out in the building. He's just praying that he could just sneak by and sneak on through. Let's switch over to EXO, as EXO has a nice high ground position over here, getting a lot of damage in. Honestly, EXO, this is a really good position for them. They're making a big play here. The Gibraltar's running in with and they're going back from the port. They did do some entry damage, but they're backing up in this situation, and they're going to hard hold. Xeris, unfortunately, did get knocked as he was ratting. Just be mindful. We look at the scoreboard here, realize that a lot of the kills and damage is pretty spread out quite evenly. Let's take a look at Invictus, as they're the ones hard holding the building. Fortunately, they get knocked out based on the rotation, based on their angle. Let's switch back over to EXO, as they have the bird's eye view based on the building and everything far in between. Let's hard hold here on EXO, because I believe that they have the best positioning here for everyone to rotate in. And as you can see, they're just hard picking damage as much as humanly possible.
Target spotted.
So the quiet before the storm, we got 5 teams remaining. We see a mix of them. EXO literally has the best spot. And as long as they just don't throw this, don't throw your situation. They really have an amazing spot, considering if you look on the south side, all the teams have to run past each other, and there's one team on the right. They are aware of the rat that's in play, but they do not have to get greedy with this. So again, this is the calm before the storm. Remember how I mentioned FS did have the Kraber in play. Heard the Kraber go out, and they did ping him. Let's see if he managed to get a nice, clean Kraber shot. He's getting scanned left and right, and he's going to get knocked. Let's see if he manages to get the Kraber shot. Maybe get a knock. Maybe make a miracle happen. He's most likely not going to make it happen. He gets knocked. Let's switch over to back at EXO, as they have the high ground in the situation. EXO, they play patiently here. They can close this out. Just as I said, all the other teams are fighting. All they have to do is not get greedy. Do not int. Let other teams mess up and make a mistake. They're already using all their utility. EXO has not used their Gibby bubble. This is fantastic play. I'm unsure if they have. Let's switch over to the Gibby. They don't have their ult, which is perfectly fine, but they do have their Gibby bubble. All they're doing is they're frying from a distance. They're going in. Don't get greedy here. Don't get greedy. Make a strong play. Be patient. They got their Gibby bubble out. They're coming in. Massive play. Clean wipe. And now it's a team versus team. There's a lot of cracks here. A lot of damage. And there it is. EXO has it. As mentioned, they had the power position there. We called it. We called it that as long as they played patiently and waited for the right moment, and they saw it, and they still had their bubble, everyone else wasted their utility. They went in and they secured it. The other team that was from the bubble dome should have realized that EXO was definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with, and probably should have put more pressure. They let them have it for free. They literally said, you know what? Here are your raisins. Here you go. Here they are. It's a joke from Futurama. Is it? No, it was a Robin Williams stand-up. Nonetheless, I'm not very funny, but it's okay. That's why we're casting. All right, while we have a moment, let's give a shout out to everyone who's here in the chat. Remember, there is a 5-minute delay. So Michael, Trippa, Highs, Big Ape, appreciate Gurkra. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. You were here yesterday. I really appreciate you, by the way. Derek, appreciate you as well. The Observer, Ajim, thank you so much for being here. Irfam, Incognito, good to have you here, by the way. Where's the official stream? Currently, I believe it's overseas, which is why they have Dolphin and I shoutcasting the English version here for the official side of things, which is why you don't see it happening, because obviously it goes overseas. I'm going to hop in the other lobby now. We are now at match 5. Let me update that on the screen from what we see here in just a hot second, and then we're going to look at the scores. After game 5, there is a 15-minute break, so in a moment, I definitely recommend you guys step away. It's after game 5, though, of course. So let's hop on in. One second. I'm trying to get in. So give us a quick second. One second here. Just checking the Discord, just making sure that we're getting into the lobby and that everything is all good, hunky-dory. The lobby's taking a quick second just to update. But what a play. Game 5. Let's update on screen the fact that we are now on match 5. What a night. What a day so far. And we're looking pretty good. Not too bad, ladies and gentlemen. Not too bad. Alright, lobby's up. The feedback I saw, obviously, in pulling the map too much, I can definitely make a switch on that. I just want to make sure we're not missing the fights and the rotation. Give me 1 second. All right, let's see here. Taking a look at the overall stats. Give me 1 second. All right. So let's take a rundown of the scores here in just a hot second. Well, Marcus, appreciate the feedback. We'll definitely try to make an adjustment. I just want to make sure we're not missing the fights. I'm trying to keep tabs of the teams. Can definitely be hard to juggle. Also, I'm kind of single shoutcasting and driving the camera and everything far in between. So I appreciate you guys' patience. Be sure to leave a like if you're enjoying the commentary. And we're adjusting on the fly in terms of feedback. So just know that I appreciate all of you guys for being here and being a part. Now we're on game 5. Some teams are going to be match point eligible. Let's discuss that just a hot second. So teams. So overall, EXO is in first place at 62 points, and they are match point eligible because of that round. They literally, if they win the next match, they can run away with this tournament and secure first place. Lynx, now above 51 points, is match point eligible. So what does this mean? What does it mean when I say match point eligible? They have to hit 50 total points. And once they do, the next round, or whatever round they can get to, they have to win overall to take away the whole tournament. So you can win a bunch of games early on, but until you're match point eligible, that's when it matters to really win. The problem is that once you're match point eligible, everybody in the lobby is most likely going to be gunning for you. That definitely makes it a lot more nerve-wracking. So when we look at the scores, we see EXO, 0.62, match point eligible. Lynx, 51, match point eligible. Myth Apex, 48, which means they need 2 points, and then they're obviously at that point match point eligible. And then we also have Wolfpack Shadow, 38. Then we have Myth Apex Team 235, Headhunters 33, Wolfpack Arctic 29, Team Dreefire 26, and so forth and so forth. But those are our top teams that we're going to keep an eye. EXO and Lynx are the teams that we need to keep a close eye on for this tournament. All right. We're going to hop right back in. Match point. This is the moment. Thank you guys again for supporting the channel. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe. Again, there is a 5-minute delay, so appreciate your patience as we look in chat. We give a shout out to all of you guys who are here. Really appreciate it. This is an official stream as we are spectating in real time. And for those that are watching the VOD, obviously it's a VOD, but nonetheless, I will timestamp afterwards if you want to come back and look at all the matches. I did it for yesterday for APAC North, and we'll definitely do the same for APAC South. Retta, it's good to have you here. MGYT, good to have you here. Why does it say World's Edge Season 6? I can actually type that in chat while I have a moment here. I'm going to type that for you right now. Look at Discord, see how much time we have in between. Two seconds. All right. Looks like we're good to go. Taking a look, making sure that everyone's getting in the lobbies. Everyone is almost back in. Who's leading right now? We'll cover that. So I'll type it in chat. But right now we have... Type it on the quick notepad so I can put it in chat for you guys. EXO. 2. Point. Even copy and paste the scores for you guys so we can keep up and chat about everything. Just give me 2 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate your patience as we're setting up a few things. Let me just move around, make sure I'm not getting booted from the lobby. We're good. That's a bit of a mess. All right. Michael, appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to hop back in just a hot second. Let's see if teams change it up. We have seen APAC South has been very consistent in their picking in terms of legends with Bloodhound, Wraith, and Gibraltar. Been very, very consistent. It's been a little surprising that we haven't seen any switch to crypto or anything like that. We even saw yesterday at Horizon, we saw a Revenant in play. We definitely saw some very interesting plays yesterday in APAC South. Sorry, for APAC North. For APAC South, it's definitely very interesting as we're seeing a very consistent through line from all these teams. We're going to keep a close eye on Lynx for this round because they're match point, as well as EXO. Those are going to be the two teams that are going to make the biggest difference in this coming round. And they can literally, if they win this next round, could win the overall tournament. This is where we're going to start to feel the pressure, and they're definitely going to feel the pressure. We're going to start seeing teams play a lot more differently. While we've been seeing a lot of great aim come from Jim Burton, unfortunately, they haven't been able to secure enough placement, edge out enough teams. Dexter's team has been doing quite well as Red Sea. So we look at the overall scores again, and we run down through the listing, because I happen to have some of the back-end data. I know Liquipedia takes a little bit of time to kind of update, but they're doing their best to update as fast as humanly possible. That's a link for you guys. So, again, EXO 62, Lynx 51, Myth Apex 48, Wolfpack Shadow 38, Myth Apex 35, Headhunters 33, Wolfpack Arctic 29, Team Dreamfire 26, and so forth. We'll keep tabs, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot of kills from EXO. EXO has been frying the lobby. They're starting to feel a lot more confident. Again, for those that are watching, just know that I appreciate you guys. It's in the middle of the night. I've actually shoutcasted here in the middle of the night from both APAC North and now South. It is currently 4:31 in the morning for me, which is quite early. Just coming at you, shoutcasting, having a blast, and we just now have confirmation that we're starting. So let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're excited. This is where the tournament really starts to heat up, and you don't want to step away because this is where we can actually finally see who the winner for APAC South ALGS Autumn Circuit will be. As a reminder, we do get a bit of lag here at the start as the server kind of eases out. I am streaming from the East Coast of the United States. It's just why this is an English stream for APAC South. APAC South is definitely a little bit of ways away. We are connecting in, we are communicating with the team, and we are spectating this in real time, which is why there's a 5-minute delay. Let's see if we have any 50-50s. There has been less inting at the start compared to APAC North, which has been fascinating to see how teams are playing a little more passive compared to APAC North. But nonetheless, we do see a lot of teams in the final circle. And as teams reach match point, we're going to see them playing a lot more patient. Just a note, after match 6, there will be a 15-minute break. So we still have match 5 and match 6. The reason why we're going to keep going because there's the potential that some teams could actually just win this tournament. So after match 6, we will have a 15-minute break. Let's take a look at FS and see if they're going to 50-50 or if they're going to just fight for Dome.
Copy that.
We do have the unfortunate Duos team. The Duos team is actually full sending over on Server Camp and Epicenter, which means that they're going to be running into Belkin and their team. And if they're split, this is actually potentially a smart play on their part, knowing that they could actually catch them out because they know that they're going to be split. So it's curious how this is going to shape up, and this is definitely going to hard grief their game, considering that they'll have to play a lot closer together when they realize that they can't necessarily just take Survey Camp for free. I'm going to pause the music just so we can hear audio and footsteps, just a bit better for you guys. Definitely want to have you guys hear the audio just as much as the player would. It looks like they pinged. They aware that a team went over to Survey Camp. The question is, are they going to push them out? And are they aware that it is the Duo team? No 50-50s on the rest of the lobby whatsoever. And there's a lag that's going to kick in for a moment. We're just going to relax. Took the feedback based on opening the map too much. I'll try to keep it a little calm based on what's occurring. So obviously there's a little lag at the start. Good thing because there's no 50-50, so we're not really missing much. And then once it settles in, we're going to be good to go.
Found an extended energy
Level 2.
So as a reminder, let's actually hold up the screen here. Notice that this team is definitely trolling as you realize that they actually switched with a Loba. We actually have a Loba in play for a competitive tournament, especially at this caliber and level. We have a Wraith and a Loba, which kind of makes sense because potentially they need to loot faster and rotate. Kind of a bit of an odd situation considering they're a duo here at ALGS today. But seeing a Loba here in the tournament is definitely something I have yet to see. Let's take a look at what else is in play. We do have a Mirage. A Mirage and a Wraith. So we have Wraiths pairing with some unique combos. And Myth Apex, this is a combination that's definitely going to be interesting. We have a Revenant, a Crypto, and a Wraith. You know what they're switching into? They're switching into full-on aping. We actually have WPAC,
Might be something good this way.
Wolfpack, Easy Flash already knocking. Looks like they came in for the poor Loba. That's the team that was actually already going in. They already caught out the Loba, or they knocked the Wraith, and now they're hunting for the poor Loba. Not like we missed much here. This is not a surprise. This was a 3v2 situation. They came over here because this is their spot. I'm in no way, shape, or form surprised that this occurred for that poor team. So they're out in 20th place. They're getting charge rifle from a distance over in Refinery. Actually, not Refinery, from the west side of the map. And they're going to have to hard hold here for a second. Let's look at the map, see if that's an individual there. It's not a full team, so they're just going to be picking on them. And we'll see that. It looks like Dexter's team is changing things up with a Revenant. It looks like they're going to be inting. They're looking for points. They're not looking for placement here. They are not match points, so it does not matter if they win this round. They're here to grief, and they're here to push.
I see a target in the distance.
And yes, we actually did see a Mirage yesterday. And let's take a look at the Mirage team and see how they're handling their rotations and how they're going to bamboozle. This is actually kind of a big brain play when you think about it. Keep in mind that this team is a team of 2, and having the Mirage actually kind of helps deter enemies into thinking that there's more than one individual. They don't know that they're playing Mirage quite yet, so this is actually kind of a big brain play on their part to increase their numbers and kind of escape. So good on them for getting a little creative, and as we see more creativity start to pop off. We're going to keep an eye on Dexter's team because this team is going to hard push and hard ape.
Let's move here.
They're going for kill points, and they definitely want it. You see a crypto bot going out and play. They're scouting around. They're looking around Countdown to see if they can find anybody. The reason I'm popping up the map, I just want to make sure we're not missing any of the action. I'm keeping an eye on Dexter because it looks like they're going to be the most AP. I guarantee you, this Revenant is hungry. He's got his ult. He's waiting to push a team. This is going to be the action that we're going to be looking for, and they see it. They see it. I guarantee they're going to put the Revenant ult here any minute. They're going to wait for the crack, and they're going to use the port. So for those that are new to Apex, this is probably the most aggro composition that you can have. What you do is you use the crypto for an opening, and they put the bot in a strong position so they can use it for later. You have the Wraith port to go in, and then you have the ult from Revenant to push as well. So you have multiple ways to find an opening. We also see a fight happening as well over here. Can't believe we missed this opening bit of it. And there it is, clean wipe from Templex. Surprised when we looked at the map that this actually occurred based on this wipe. Looks like they pushed over to PG. The poor Bloodhound is running away for his dear life. And this is a good situation for them to be in. Let's take a look at EXO and let's take a look at Lynx because they are technically our match point contenders here. So while we have been focusing on other teams, this team is really, really important as well as Lynx because if they win this whole tournament. The Revenant team, let's take a look at Dexter. Let's make sure we're not missing it. They're still looking for an opening, and there's the port. There's the opening here. Like I mentioned, they're looking for damage, they're looking for kills, and they're looking for points. They're hungry, and they're willing to grab it as much as they can. Let's switch POVs because he's just going to heal up. Revenant is making a push here. They're trying to find an opening. This is going to be very unfortunate if they can't clutch this out. Takes the port back. Let's take a look and see if the crypto can do any damage. Unfortunately, it does not. It gets pushed back, and they have not found their opening. Very unfortunate. There goes a lot of their utility and everything for the push. Good on the team for holding them back while they tried to make an opening. Let's take a look at Lynx's team and seeing how they're faring, and then we're going to go right back there in the center. They're probably not going to move. They have a gold armor. They're a bit separated. That's perfectly fine. Let's take a look back at Dexter's team and see how they're faring if they're going to make a push on this. Fortunately, this team, when we look at the map, they're pretty sandwiched. This team looks like they're down below, and we need to make sure that that is not going to impact them. Let's take a look at EXO, see how they're faring, considering that, again, they are match point. We're just going to hard hold at this angle. So they're holding here. They do not want to get into the thick of it. Right now, they do not. He actually goes for the play, goes for the EVA 8. Some strong damage, lots of 7s, lots of 28s. That's the unfortunate part of using the EVA 8. That sometimes it can be very inconsistent. One of them gets fried, one is cracked. They know that they're cracked and they could get aped here. Goes for the Arc Star push. Trying to keep him at bay. Another Arc Star just to make sure that they don't get pushed. This is pretty scary for Team EXO considering they want to make sure that they secure this win to win this tournament. If they manage to clutch this out, this could be a massive game for them. Let's switch over to the POV of the Gibraltar because he's going to be the one to Gibby bubble push if he's able to. Got a G7 and EVA 8. We got a very popular EVA 8 situation here. The EVA 8, as you can tell, has not been consistent for them and not been helping them out as much as they want. They're right above them. They push down. Uses Gibby bubble. Hard situation here. The EVA 8 just is not enough, and the Mastiff is what clears it out. And DF, wow, they're still... Unfortunate situation for EXO as they're knocked out early here.
Let's go this way.
They fought, they're out early, not like they really need any points, they just need to survive and they're pushed out of this situation. So let's go take a look over to Lynx to see how they're doing.
This way.
Let's explore this way.
Just chilling. Nothing changed here. Let's see how Dexter's team is changing things up. We look at the map. There is a team behind them here, and there's still the team there. And just in a weird holding pattern, in a weird position. Now let's take a look at Lynx's team and make sure that they're not getting pushed. What's going to happen here, all these teams are going to rotate over to them. You're going to see rotation here, rotation here, rotation here. And so, obviously what Lynx is doing is that they're keeping a close eye, and obviously they don't want to get sandwiched, so they got to be careful on that spot. Obviously, the Wraith is the one being utilized for being out of position here compared to the others who are holding this building. Is that the Wraith at least has a port, and she can get out. So you'll see this a lot in ranked, and you definitely should utilize this information in your ranked play. Is that the Wraith is definitely going to be your scouter. The reason why she's your scouter is because she has the one ability to really get in and out of a situation compared to others. Things are pretty quiet here. This is the duo team. This is the Mirage. No surprise here that they got caught out of rotation. They're just being hunted, unfortunately. We just see a oh my gosh, that fry was insane. Insane accuracy on that part. Unfortunately, still goes out. An admirable effort from experience. Admirable across the board. Let's take a look at Invictus and see how they're doing. Looks like they lost one individual as well as LCQ, which is very unfortunate. Very surprised that we're losing individuals, especially at this level. But they're all just holding and waiting. This actually puts Team Lynx in a positive situation, considering there are so many teams that are getting caught out and losing based on attrition, especially what we see here. One individual got knocked from a distance from above. That team from above has to push down, which they are. They actually put a Wraith port. Needs to hold true by his trusty Mastiff, and he's trying to hold up, like, trying to get the res. They're going to have to come right through, but they're not going to, because they know even though they have the one up, if they go through that port, that would be them giving up high ground, and they have to realize that they have to rotate. So we have 16 squads, 44 individuals remaining. Obviously, we've lost a lot of individuals in the tournament thus far. And they're just going to rotate, which makes sense. Which means all these teams are going to converge, and Lynx is going to be waiting for them. Take a look at the Wraith up above. So teams are just playing patient, and we're going to see all the teams hard rotate in. So let's take a look at AG in just a hot second here. We haven't actually taken a look at AG much this tournament so far. But we noticed that they got a knocked, and they have a hard rotation on the south side. So this is an angle that most people actually don't really utilize, and it's nice to see that somebody's actually utilizing this angle, that there's a rock here. Usually, you'll notice what a lot of pros will do. Switch over to the Wraith. The Wraith got caught out of position, unfortunately. The GB bubble is there to have her get some cover and to bat.
Enemy spotted.
We should go here.
So what we're seeing here is that pros will utilize angles and different angles to help them get the one-up on an enemy. As you can see in the back, they'll find every sweet spot to clutch something out, because it's better than running in an open space, especially with this open space that they have. Let's take a look at Lynx, as they had the upper hand here, and they're the ones scouting information. They notice the teams are on the south side. That team ported down to see if they can get some damage in, and they see the teams finally rotating on the south side. Lynx is very important here because they are match point, meaning that they could win this overall tournament. This Wraith is having a field day, saying literally every team is around them, putting them in the hot spot here. We see teams fighting on the south side. Curious what team is this? Probably Wolfpack.
Listen, let's move here.
They're actually on that side. Let's take a look at Wolfpack Arctic. Wolfpack Arctic's holding the other angle. We got to figure out what team is actually on the south side. And here we go. This is the team that's actually sandwiched. This is actually perfect timing that we tuned in, and we're just going to hard hold here. This team right here is literally sandwiched between two. They got a team in front and a team behind. The question is, are they aware of the team that is right behind them? I'm going to pull up the map for just a hot second so we can take a look. And they are unaware. Unfortunately, we see Belkin is being killed getting shot in the kill feed. If we switch to that, we're probably going to miss the action that's about to take place here because this is going to occur in about 20 seconds. And once this happens, I'm going to switch over to Lynx as they're going to be the next person in play. This is definitely the part of the map that we want to focus on, because considering Lynx is match point, and all three of these teams are about to converge right at this moment. This could mean that Lynx could catch all three of these teams out of position. The team on the south side may be rotating, which they did. They actually took the south rotation, which is very smart on their part, knowing that they had this option. So they're going to port in. They have very limited time. Let's see what Thornbury does in this situation. Obviously, Lynx just got pushed out of position in their spot on the upper part, and everyone's about to converge onto this main situation here. The Wraith looks like she's still okay up top. Looks like they got the nice clean rotation in. Let's take a look at from Lynx's point of view to see what is happening up there. He's got eye in the sky for us. He's actually helping us commentate from up here because he's able to see everything that's happening all around. Let's take a look at WPAC. See how they're doing on their end, considering they're getting some damage in. They did drop from height. Looks like they got a knock here. Just looks like it was a single knock. Just catching people out. And they're going to go probably right back up in just a hot second. They're calling out where enemies are rotating. Looks like he's going to go pick up some extra loot and drag it back in. Looks like Myth just got a knock on Skudut. And he needs to go back up before his port disappears. Looks like it actually did, so it looks like he's kind of caught out of position. He's got the rope over on the left side that can get him back up. Let's take a look at Lynx's point of view, considering he was up top, and he does know where the teams are. He sees the team caught out of position here. Gets a little damage in, even though we see the number. We did see the hit, unless that was a no-reg. Charge rifle hitting in. Looks like the ring is closing. It's about to get real tight here. Honestly, we probably won't see a whole lot of fights except for the train yard side, which I want to hold at this angle for now. Let's actually take a look at Team Dreamfire, which is the train yard side. This is probably where we're going to see most of the action take place, considering everyone is mostly in a nice holding spot. They are kill leader with 3 total kills right now. This also was a team that knocked Team Exo. Let's take a look at how APAC is doing. He's actually on fire so far with 3 kills. Let's see if they can secure a bit more. These teams are definitely going to be a little bit more aggro. They're less concerned about winning right now. They have to get up to match point, and Team Dreamfire is aware of that. So I'm kind of curious if they're going to ape this team at the bottom and say, you know what, let's go for points, or if they're going to go for the rotation and go for placement. There's still 14 teams alive at this point. Let's take a look from Lynx's point of view. Eye in the sky. Channel 3, Channel 4 news. Take a look at the rotations that are occurring. I see a lot of actions taking place. Let's take a look at Myth's team. They were not as aggro as we thought they were going to be, considering their composition that they're running. I know that they wanted to be, unfortunately just didn't pan out. They're also still in train yard. Gets knocked! Got a G7 eye in the sky, taking pop shots. Unfortunately does not get a crack. And Jen Burton has to back up from the situation. He's now caught at a position. He needs his trusty Gibraltar to get some fire for him, or else he's going to be caught out here. He's going to hard rotate around and take height and try to catch up with his buddy up above. Another angle from the train yard. Train yard is definitely hot right now. It's definitely where everyone's at because it does have the most angle and the most to provide for them. There's Jen Burton, who he just shot at, had gold armor up above. And we're just going to have a moment where literally everyone is kind of at a standstill. There's a nade. Big nade potentially. Big nade. Big damage. Let's see if that team decides to push in on them. And if they manage to clutch it out. Definitely decide not to. There's so many people located in this whole area. There's a lot of damage that's going to be coming out of this. Let's take a look at Jen Burton. And they're making callouts of where they can rotate and where they can hold. Let's take a look. Eye in the sky. They're just chilling, but they have to rotate in. This is the team that's making match point. They're going to try to catch a team out of rotation here. Only 11 damage, not enough to really make a decision or make a call out. And that team is rotating in. They have to get in front of that team. If they don't, it's going to be really bad for them. This is not the situation they want to be in. They're now late to rotation. There's going to be a lot of action. We're going to try to catch as many teams as humanly possible. This is going to be quite difficult because everyone's going to be going at it. As we can see, Jen Burton, the team in front of him, is already in a hot fight. They scan. This gives an opportune moment for Lynx to kind of hop in and make a big decision here to go into a fight. Fortunately, Apex does go down, and he's just trying to bide his time. Big damage! Big fry. 2 flesh. Knocks one. Can he go for the third? He does. He mops it up. There's a Gibby ult going out. He needs to switch armors. He needs to hold his position. That was a massive play that we just got from Jen Burton. I'm so glad that we managed to catch that point of view. Looks like Lynx is going to show up right behind him. Is he going to clutch at another 1v3? Who knows? That's definitely not impossible to do based on what he just did. Massive crack, 72 damage in. Gold. Fry. My gosh, is he definitely somebody to be reckoned with. Lynx had an opportune moment. If they play patient here, literally they could run away with this tournament right now. They have so many boxes. They have so many resources at their disposal. This is not a bad position. They're going to be fine as long as they play patiently. The fight is mostly happening on the upper left side of the map. Let's tune in over there. This is where Myth Apex is. Oh, and they're using the good old crypto push. Gets pushed back. Unfortunately, let's switch POV. Fortunately, has no more. And they're holding. They're holding. I had to stop commentating for a moment to make sure. Oh, actually, he's going up. He gets sent back. They're trying to make a play, and it just unfortunately is not really happening. Make sure Lynx is still in play. They are. RS gets a knock. I'm surprised they were not able to make a play out of this, and they had to rotate in. So let's take a look at Lynx, because like we did before, quite literally, this could be match point for them. And they are in the hot seat right now. They're doing a lot of damage. They have a really weird angle here. They have the rock, but it does kind of put them in the hot seat. And as long as they're not the center of focus, there's a lot of action going on. But we're focusing on Lynx's team right now because quite literally, they could win this tournament right now. They could literally win if they clutch this out. Everyone else is fighting. Surprisingly, nobody is hard focusing Lynx at the moment. Nobody's hard focusing them. They're doing a lot of damage. They're making some smart plays. They're not getting into the mix of it right now. We got a top 4 situation with Lynx, Wolfpack Arctic, Team Dreamfire, and Athium. So they know everyone's picking on that poor, looks like Wraith over there. She's got a hard situation to be in. I can definitely feel the heart racing of Lynx right now. I can definitely feel the pressure. He takes a little zone damage, gets a knock, or almost gets a knock. They're trying to switch out the damage here, taking a lot of damage, trying to finish it, put the pressure, trying to get them out so the other teams finish him up. He needs to go back in before he takes too much damage. They definitely have the resources, which is why they're using and going in and out of zone. He actually utilized a mobile respawn close to the final zone. I have not seen that happen from what I've commentated and what I've seen. They use a Gibby bubble to buy themselves some times. I wonder if they're aware that this is Lynx.
We should go here.
Because if they are, they're definitely going to be picking on them. They don't want them to win. This team is rolling up on him. This is going to definitely be hard. Lynx goes down with a Gibraltar. I'm not really sure why he utilized his Q there. He definitely probably should have saved that. Could have easily just dropped down. Probably the pressure. I could definitely feel the pressure that's taking place right now. I don't think they're going to be able to go for a res here. It'd be very surprising if they manage to get this res. They got 8 seconds. They have to move in. She's going to try to go for the res anyways. 5 seconds. Got a knock on the other side. We're going to keep a close eye on them and see if they can manage to clutch this out. Going to go for the port. And get as close as humanly possible. She's trying to find a position to play in. Unfortunately, there's a knock there. They need to rotate around. He's going to take heavy damage. He's already used his Q. Gets a knock. And unfortunately gets knocked out. And now we're back with Wolfpack with 6 kills in. Big damage. A lot of them are burning. Looks like this could be Wolfpack's game. Gibraltar ult goes out. They move in. They're going to have to push this. They have no choice because of the Gibraltar ult. Mastiff, 11, 44. That's not the numbers you want to see. And they hard throw it. It goes to Team Dreamfire. Wow, what a game. Whew, I can definitely feel the pressure that they're feeling on that one. Oh. What a tournament, what a fight, and what a day. That's crazy. Team Dreamfire getting a win. This can definitely bring them much closer to match point. We're going to see in round 6 the potential for many, many teams to be at match point, and this could be anyone's game. I'm nervous for Team EXO and also for... Let's take a look. Team Dreamfire, massive points. 4-3-3, which is the total of 10 points, plus 12, 22 total points, pushes them quite a bit. Wolfpack, massive kill game, 6-4-1. While Jim Burton did get a lot of kills, they were in 10th place, meaning they only got a few points. Not the most ideal situation that they want to be in. And as we can tell, the next lobby is about to get started in just a hot second. All right, so they're going to be tallying the scores, and I'm going to update the screen here because we are now in match 6. See if there's any notes on the back end. So again, after match 6, there's going to be a 15-minute break. This is a quick FYI, and we are about to go into match 6. So there are teams that have the potential to take away this tournament. Let's talk about the pressure. Let's talk about the fact that teams are changing compositions and that rounds are not taking place the same way as they did before. And they're not most likely going to stay the same, which puts a lot of people in a lot of uncomfortable situations. So again, appreciate you guys. Don't forget to leave a like. Subscribe if you're enjoying the content here on the channel. Shout out to EA. Thank you so much for letting me spectate the back end for APAC South. For all of you guys hanging out, being a part of the stream, we'll give a shout out to all those who typed in chat who are here. Just know that I appreciate all of you guys for being present for such a monumental and epic tournament. Kai Rule, thank you so much for being here, as well as, again, Gurkra, appreciate you, buddy. Derek, too many teams change strats, and pretty much, they really will. Rita, thank you so much for being here. And definitely interesting to see the Mirage. And the Loba, the fact that it was a Loba in play is actually hilarious. How do you get those red trails? That is a Predator trail. We'll get back in it just... So at the start, I'm going to follow some teams, but we're going to look at compositions because I guarantee you that they're going to change and they're going to be adjusted. So what do I mean by comp change? Once we have match point, a lot of teams are going to they want the dub. They don't even care for kills. Because there's no reason to get any more kills because you just need a win. And winning is, and the problem is that if you don't push a lot of fights, is that you don't get a lot of good armors. And sometimes you just kind of have to keep playing as if you were playing for normal, going for a win. So sometimes teams can hard throw once they're match point, and it can be quite difficult for them. All right. So everyone's going to start connecting here in a second. We got match 6 up. What a night. It is now almost 5 o'clock in the morning here. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're doing fantastic. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us today. The fact that we can all come together from different regions of the world and that you're tuning into the stream today just to hang out and have a conversation, talk about Apex, and talk about the fact that the tournament is still going and that we're having such a great time together. Take a look to see if I have updated scores. Okay, we haven't updated who's match point. So let's run through those scores real quick, shall we? Team EXO still at 62, match point eligible. Lynx, 60 points, still match point eligible. Myth Apex, which is Dexter's team, match point eligible. So while they were playing really odd and aggro, I guarantee you now they're probably having the conversation, okay, we ran the Crypto, Revenant, and Wraith. Let's play a little more passive now that we've got those points. Now we've got those points, you know. Let's figure out how we can shape the round to the point where we just win. So let's see what they do in this next round, what they're going to pick. I guarantee you they're probably not going to stick with Crypto, Revenant, and Wraith. They could. Definitely would be interesting, but I just don't think they're going to stick with it. Now, there are other teams that are close. Wolfpack Arctic is close to match point. Team Dreamfire is close to match point. As, again, let's run through it from the beginning. I will link the updated points in just a hot second here for you guys. So the score and the breakdown, just FYI, EXO, 62 points, match eligible. Lynx, 60 points, match eligible. Myth Apex, 55 points, match eligible. Wolfpack Arctic, 49 points. Team Dreamfire, 48. Myth Apex Team 2, 43. Wolfpack Shadow, 41. Headhunters, 40. And then I think those are the teams that we should really focus in on. Those are the teams that are really making the biggest difference. 100% Derek, we can definitely keep track of more Team Dreamfire, especially since they are definitely starting to clutch things out. They're close to match point. We want to focus on Myth, Apex, Lynx, and EXO, considering their match point. And based on their decisions on how they're running the lobby, they could potentially win the whole tournament. After this round, after match 6, keep in mind that there is going to be a 15-minute break, so we can have more of a conversation, kind of break things down. I recommend after this next match that everyone does step away, take a quick moment, relax, get yourself a cup of coffee, some food, anything, and come back and enjoy another round. All right. Looking pretty good. Everyone's loading in. Let's see if anybody runs any troll comps. See how things shape up. We had a few teams. I wonder if there was a few disconnects there. It's not what we want to see in a final tournament, especially of this caliber and this level. Is there anybody else as well? I lend this to you guys in the chat. If anybody specifically you would like for me to keep an eye on, I know Jin Burton, we caught some amazing plays. We've seen some amazing plays here on stream for today, which has been pretty exciting overall. But the fact that just, again, I appreciate you guys for being a part. Don't forget to leave a like. The fact you're engaging, being a part, and even with a 5-minute delay, it means a whole lot. Camilla, the other individuals who are streaming are on Twitch. One of them streaming in a different language, and TSM Dolphin is streaming as well. He was here. I have to log into a different account. But there are 2 other streams going on Twitch. I Am Dan is streaming in Indonesian. From Indonesia, excuse me. Alright. So very exciting round. We're getting pretty close. It is 5 in the morning for me, and the fact that we've been kind of pushing on and pushing through has been very exciting. The fact that you guys have been with us, just know that I appreciate every single one of you for being a part. Just taking a look on the back end to see if there's any changes, anything I can report on for you guys, and that we can kind of talk through. Okay. Yes, Camilla, this tournament is happening right now. Gurkha, got it. So if you're just tuning in, relaxing, just want to say welcome. It's good to have you here. We are broadcasting live APAC South for everyone who is joining in. There are other individuals who are streaming on the Twitch side. While I would love to have you here, I definitely want you guys to have the best viewing experience possible. We are keeping close commentary, so if you're enjoying the commentary, definitely leave a like, comment, and subscribe, as we do post Apex Legends content, how to improve your aim, and also talk about in-depth discussion about Apex Legends in general. So obviously there is a 5-minute delay, so I'm typing a chat here and there, but know that there's a 5-minute delay. Just keep the integrity of the tournament as well as others. So other streams that are happening right now are all on a 5-minute delay. And the reason there's a 5-minute delay, again, is to make sure that nobody's cheating, that everything is fair and everything is consistent. Hopefully when you step away from this, that there's a lot that you guys can learn. from how tournament play happens. It's not always just about aim. We see Jen Burton having some fantastic aim. We see a lot of big plays happening, but sometimes you really need your team to really back you up. You need to have good positioning, and you have to think 2 steps ahead, or else you just won't win the overall tournament. Because again, you can clutch out, you can really fry and play the best of your ability, but your team really matters, and it really matters in games like ranked and even in pubs when you're playing. When you're playing pubs and you're playing ranked, realize just how monumental that your team is, and how while you can go in and have 100% accuracy, you're not always going to win the fight. APAC stands for Asia Pacific. What made Watson not being picked in esports? So this is a fantastic question. I think we saw every team switch away from Watson. Yesterday we had a Watson team and they were match point eligible and they did really well yesterday. The reason why a lot of teams have switched away from Watson is that Gibraltar and Wraith have great synergy and are monumental to continue to succeed. So let's break that down. Wraith is obviously a must-have because she has a port and she can get in and out of very sticky situations. Now for Gibraltar, he has a faster res if somebody gets knocked. He can provide space where there is none with the Gibby bubble. So if you're getting shot at, great way to find cover and for you to create opening space. Now, in terms of Bloodhound, you really want to grab a Bloodhound for scans for information of where teams are, because information is king and information is key. Now he also has he can now, based on the buff he's been provided, he can now scan beacons. Now scanning beacons is really monumental because it really obviously predicts where the zone is going to go. Well, we have many massive plays in terms of knowing where the circles are going to go. Having the 100% confirmation is very key. So when we think about how it's going to play out with replacing Bloodhound, if you bring in a Watson becomes less viable because you lose the information on zones, circles, where people are at. And if you don't have that, Watson used to be played with Pathfinder, and Pathfinder just hasn't been as viable, which doesn't help. We see individuals talking. Looks like we're starting. Very exciting, very exciting. So that's why we haven't seen Watson play. Oddly, from APAC North, we saw a lot more Crypto and Caustic. We haven't seen that as been a monumental play. A lot of teams are doing very well in holding their position and knowing how to hold angles. Yesterday, Sun Sister was playing in APAC North and doing a fantastic job. And of course, if you're interested, definitely check out that VOD. It's also there for you guys. We did see a Horizon in play yesterday for the official tournament, but it's been interesting seeing how she hasn't been utilized for APAC South. And so for those wondering, APAC stands for Asia Pacific. Individuals are selecting their legend at the start. We're going to see if the meta has changed. We're going to see if anybody's picking different legends. We're going to take a look. We're going to keep a bird's eye view and dig deep. All right, we're about to get into it here in just a hot second. Let's see if anybody's trolling. Anybody's going to run a Loba. I think they're actually going to keep the Loba. So let's take a look. What changes do we see? Looks like we have a Bangalore in play. This is the first time I've seen a Bangalore ever in play. Looks like they're just switching randomly. We have still the Caustic in play. And it looks like they're going Skyhook, which makes a lot of sense because they can capitalize based on the buildings that take place. We're probably not going to see a 50-50 right off the rip, so it's going to be a little slow here at the start as individuals gather their loot, figure out their rotations, where they're going to go, and then we'll talk about that in a second. We're going to tab out. There's going to be a little lag. I just want to make sure we can hear the audio, so I pause the music for the meantime. So we're looking at the map, looking where everyone's landing. And no 50-50s, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see a Caustic with an heirloom. Big Caustic in play. Looks like we don't have the good old Mirage back. which is perfectly fine. Let's take a look at where zone is. This is going to pull on the south side, potentially a harvester ending, or potentially a tree ending, depending what we're looking at. But we're potentially looking at these two type of endings. And again, there is going to be a little lag. We've kind of seen at the start of the over around. We are streaming from East Coast, and this is located actually in Asia. So I definitely have a bit of a delay.
We will find something here. Havoc here. R301 here.
All right, we're just keeping a look at the zone. Everyone's just looting. Everyone's taking their time. So while everyone is looting, let's talk about the fact again that we have Team XO. We'll switch to their POV and just kind of see how they're doing in Fragment. But the fact that they're match point, and the fact so many teams are right behind them, like Lynx, and we'll switch over their POV and just see how they're doing. So we have two teams that are match point, both in Fragment, and the fact that they're not fighting or engaging at the moment. I guarantee you, even if they took a shot and they got a knock, I really don't think they're going to full int it. It wouldn't make any sense. Or they actually might. And the reason why they actually might, and let's talk about that, is because they know that if they knock each other early, that could definitely increase the odds of them continuing and not, you know, having a competitor in terms of match point. There's definitely a lot of excitement here, a lot of stuff going on, and as the zone closes and where we see individuals start to rotate to, what they're going to do. So Lynx right now, obviously, and this is important for newcomers to APAC, and you're ever curious, pros have their loot patterns down on lock. It looks like, wait a minute, and we see them get caught out again, but this time from a different team. It looks like they went over to Refinery to kind of pick on them, which I'm kind of curious why they decided to do a little pick. Let's take a look at Dexter's team, because they're actually on the south side. Actually, the team over here is actually going to be...
Let's explore this way.
Who actually showed up over on Refinery? Let's take a quick look. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen, as we figure out what's going on. Eye in the sky, looking from the Bangalore standpoint. There is a fight happening in there. We're curious of what team is actually fighting inside. We're still unaware and unsure. Let's take a look at Wolfpack. Not Wolfpack. Let's take a look at Shadow. There we go. Now we got the POV. We're going to sit here and take a quick second, take a look. Switch back to the blood. There we go. Good fry. Nice target switching. Clean knockdown on their part. Hemlock in play. Nice mop up. Easy flashes. Aim was on point. Sorry that I switched for a hot second there. Made the mistake. But it went right back to the Gibraltar. Caught the nice clean R99 spray. So I don't think Wolfpack Shadow is very nervous at this point. I wouldn't be. They're probably aware that the Bangalore is definitely an odd choice. They're probably going to hard chase that and going to take their time looting here. The Bangalore managed to guard the banner, going to deliver and res here, and potentially going to be pushed by Wolfpack Shadow. Once they hear this res, this is going to be a clear indication for them to go push in and snag those free kills. This was our first winning team of the day that had 9 kills. Belkin had a massive, there we go, this is what we were just mentioning. And they're going to hard push this. There's no reason not to. The Wraith is going to be the one first and foremost. Here we go with a push in. Buddy's trailing not too far behind. Let's see if they're able to scout him out. And there it is, waiting for them. They're going to fry him with the R301. About 45 damage in. He obviously knows that's the guy who was rezzed. Another 15 damage in, 60 damage, only 40 HP remaining. Guarantee does not have any flesh heals, and they're just going to hard push this. Using his Q as a speed boost, you'll see this done by a lot of pros when they're trying to chase and catch up. It's definitely used as a tactic to kind of catch up based on you get a 30% increase when you're utilizing Wraith. They did get the knock, they do finish it, and they do push up. There's the Wraith down below. I'm just going to finish that. And I guarantee if I switch to the Bangalore, she's not running. Let's just take a look at her POV and see how she's going to clutch this out, if she's going to. There's no way he's going to make out of this alive, unfortunately. And they go down. Very unfortunate, but it's expected as a team of 2, and they've definitely had a very hard time during this whole tournament. My heart goes out to them. Myth Template's actually already in a fight early on here. Take a look at what's going on. They're hard chasing. Got the first point of view here. Nice headshots. Nice headshots coming around the corner. frying, and that was also a team of 2. Now we have both of the team of 2s out already for the day.
Kraber here.
Looks like Invictus is actually out as well. Unfortunately, we were catching 2 other fights, so we did miss that. Looks like got the nice Kraber, so we do have a Kraber in play. Let's take a look at our teams who are match point. We got EXO, who's match point. They're just biding their time. They got nothing to worry about. They're sitting pretty nice, actually. As long as they don't get pushed out, they're actually going to be... Oh, DF actually already in hard encounter. Let's take a look at the Gibraltar, as he's the one who's probably going to make a play. This is the Caustic team. Gets the banner, backs up. Curious if DF is actually going to be able to make a play on this. They do have high ground. I highly doubt they'll jump down on this unless they'll use a Wraith Port to get down. And he's already sticking the res, which makes sense to do if they're already nervous and they have the Caustic gas all around them. We're waiting over on the right to see if they're going to push down. There's the Wraith Port, as expected. The Wraith Port, as we mentioned, is definitely a good maneuver to get in and out. This is going to be hard for the Wraith to get into the building. Takes some early damage. And the Wraith manages to make it in. Doesn't have very much. They're going to get picked on here. The nade's going out. Take out the Caustic gas. Does get Caustic. Lots of damage on the EVA. Still gets knocked, unfortunately. Switch POV. Throws the Caustic ult. Nobody... They're getting fried at this point. Knocks the Caustic ult. They fear the gas. I would too. Gets a crack on him. Jumping midair. Trying to get the triple take no scope. Does it actually happen? It does not. And the Wraith is in here all by herself with an RE45. She's probably going to try to go for this knock. And they're getting thirded right now. Just using the gas just to buy time. Let's take a look at DF and the other Wraith. Unfortunately gets knocked, and that's it for them. An RS. Good on Bunny Hop coming in for a nice clean sweep with a third party. Wasn't much difficult to come in for the third party considering they were in shambles as they come and rotate in. Lots of teams all rotating around. We're not going to see much fighting as we see here. Actually, we do see a team that probably heard the noise, but they realize there's a team sitting here. They're probably not going to engage them. So let's get an update on where everyone's at. So Armory Gaming rotating from the south side. They use the Gibby ult to kind of rotate there. EXO sitting very comfortable in the building. They're not going to move from this spot whatsoever. I wouldn't, and they're not going to either. Experienced roster of 2 here. Rotating in a little bit late. It's going to take them a little bit of time. They could run into Team EXO, though. Full Sense Esports rotating a bit late as well. Going to take them a hot moment just to get in. They could fight another team that's next to them, and we'll catch up with them in just a hot second. Headhunters, the team that's being chased. Headhunters literally having their head hunted. And they're just trying to get away. Let's see if they actually get away. We'll tune in just a hot second. Inside the ring is not inside the ring. No pun intended. They have a Wraith Port. Definitely waiting to see if they can actually make a play here. They're probably going to be the team that's actually going to have a hard encounter here. This team managed to get away. Nothing to worry about there. Let's switch scenes over to Lynx. They're also a team that's match point. They have a hard angle. They're hard holding the top part here. They're not going underneath. He's checking his mouse sensitivity. It's perfectly fine in this part. With Apex, chilling from a distance. They're not in a bad spot either. They have this angle. They were looking for the hard rotation. Let's take a look over at DF in just a hot second.
Let's go this way.
With Apex has the south side. Just taking shots from a distance. Extreme, south side as well.
Making contact with enemy.
Perry has a different angle over here. This is where the fight could happen. I'm not going to touch the map anymore. Apologize. We're just trying to make sure we have eyes in the sky and we know where everyone is located and what everyone's doing. They want to get this team out because this is a team that they need to push through to get further into zone. Belkin getting into a fight already based on the Gibby ult that I see. This was a team that I mentioned from before. Eva 8 fries and gets kill leader with a solid 3 kills. We have to keep a hot eye on Belkin to see if he's going to pop off again this round with Wolfpack Shadow. Teams are rotating in. Probably not going to see another hard encounter until the zone closes in about 10 seconds. We'll keep a hot eye on Belkin because he's popped off before. Kind of curious if he can do it again. Have a monumental play. Clean shots from the EVA 8. The EVA 8 can be very consistent.
Backpack here.
He definitely grabbed himself a Mastiff instead. I definitely would. The EVA 8 can definitely be a difficult weapon, especially when you're looking for the high damage. He pinged a backpack, which is massive for their team because that can definitely help them give a clutch res if they happen to get knocked. Let's see how teams are rotating. There's a
Might be
team up
something
top.
good
Let's
this
take a
way.
look at Wolfpack Arctic. They're further into zone. Nobody should be fighting really at this point. There's a team up top. Notice how nobody is really going to be fighting. Let's take a look at DF here. In just a hot second, we're going to switch over to them and kind of see how they're. DF actually did go out, which is Team Dreamfire. We're going to take a quick look. I apologize. We did I know chat wanted me to keep an eye on them, so I apologize. We weren't able to get right on that action as they got knocked pretty quickly. Did miss it, unfortunately. They were a team that's close to match point. They did get 2 kills, so next round they will be match point if Lynx and EXO does not take this round. So right now the zone is closing. They have a hard gate here. Team will be rotating potentially close into them.
Target spotted.
Rafe does see them. Rotating over the left.
Light ammo here.
Wolfpack, let's take a look.
Target over there.
Heads up. Check out this way.
Wolfpack Shadow has a very hard rotation here. They're going to get caught out potentially. There's nobody there. They don't realize that. They're just using their heals. We're going to keep an eye on them as they have a pretty hard rotation to get in. And they're utilizing their heals just to rotate in as fast as humanly possible. The team is on height, but I highly doubt the team on height, which is in front of them here, is going to do much to stop them. It would mean that they would have to give up their high ground, but I highly doubt they're going to do it. Notice how they ping that? I would like the high ground, but I highly doubt they're going to get it. Let's take a look at the map, make sure that there's no rotations that we are confused about. Everything is looking good. Everyone is holding. This next zone is going to be the monumental one, the biggest one that has the biggest impact and change. Is going to force a lot of fights here. So because there's going to be a lot of fights, I apologize if we will miss anything because there's a lot of teams alive at the moment. I'm curious how many we're going to have, especially in the end zone. This next zone is going to hurt. This is going to be zone 3. Belkin looking to make a push up here. This is a fight. He's going to back out from it. Are they going to barrel on through, or are they going to respect it?
Target spotted. Forget that. Let's explore this way.
They do notice that they're getting some early shots. The Wraith is taking a different angle. Whenever you're playing Apex, it's good not to completely bunch up. So the Wraith is actually being very smart here and taking a high angle. He's trying to go for some extra damage, trying to make them nervous. Gets a crack on the back, which is massive because now we got a 3v2 situation, which they're going to push on this. The Wraith cues the exact moment as a massive shot goes out. Throws Arc Star. They have the one up here. As long as they don't get caught out of position, this is good for them. He's popping a shield battery, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it's a longer heal. Piston nonetheless pops it, gets in. That battery honestly could have cost him here. One more hit. That battery honestly could have cost him. If he only used one cell and got into the fight a second sooner, that definitely made and break the difference because that was actually Lynx who was up here helping them secure the spot, considering that they are considered match point.
Let's go this way.
Very unfortunate from Wolfpack Shadow as they had a lot of kills before and they had a lot of momentum and they just got stopped. I believe if he popped a cell instead of the battery in that moment, keep in mind seconds matter, and if he came in just a few seconds sooner, I think it definitely would have made the biggest difference. Lynx is definitely getting caught in position. Let's keep a close eye on Lynx because they are match point and they do have a hard rotation. This is going to be very difficult for them. Look at the left over here on the map. They're aware of how difficult this rotation is going to be and how they're going to have to just barrel on through. I'm not sure if Lynx can actually clutch this out, and we're going to stick hard on them because this is the team that could win the tournament if they manage to take this round.
Let's move this way.
Enemy spotted.
If they play this smart, if they play this respectfully, they could get this. And it does not matter how much damage they do. What matters is if they find a spot and they hold it. Hopefully this Wraith does not get too greedy. They don't really need kills. All they need to do is survive and win. The Wraith is getting greedy. She's getting focused. She's getting caught out of position. She's going to queue back. Switch back over to Gibraltar, who throws the bubble. They're going to ape team Lynx here. They get the knock. Very patient on their part. Very smart. Goes in for the massive. Gets a crack. All they have to do is wait. Gibraltar coming out with the EVA 8. Nice. Good cleanup. They got to go for the armor swaps. Good movement on their part, and they're going to back up and try to recoup from this. And maybe impossible. This was a port that was pushed towards them. And they actually managed to survive this. This was a really big play. They almost got caught out of position. Good Q, good. The bubble is what really saved them here. And now they have to win this fight. This fight here, they have to win. If they win this, it definitely puts them in a prime spot and prime positioning for success. You can definitely feel the pressure that they're having right now. I'm not sure what that particle effect was there, but that was definitely unique that we just saw. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Apex at its finest, and look at the uphill battle that Lynx has to go through.
Let's move this way.
I am unsure if they're going to be able to push through this. This is definitely going to be hard. Let's take a look at EXO as they're also match point. They're definitely in a better position than Lynx. They're going to throw their Gibby ult here. Buy them some space. Strong damage. Gets him stuck in there. He literally can't leave, and if he does, he has to drop. Let's take a look at Zero's point of view. Zero dropped down, looking to get the extra point, catch him out. He hears the audio, he knows that he's down below. Let's take a look back at Lynx and see how Lynx is going to actually approach the situation. They're going to flank on the left here. They have to push through this team. They absolutely have to push through this team to make it through. And they're being hard gated. They got 16 seconds to make a play. They have to push. They're going to use the Gibby bubble for a push. I guarantee he's going to throw it right now. And he actually doesn't. They're actually going to go for the port. They're actually going to hold the bubble. And they realize the team has backed off a little bit, but they still have to push through as fast as humanly possible. It's a good thing they didn't use the bubble. This is why obviously they're playing and I'm not at the moment. Nonetheless, they do have the bubble as utility, and they're definitely going to use it here in a hot second to rotate in. To buy them some space. This is a massive game for Lynx. I want to take a look at EXO, but Lynx has been on fire and has been pushing right through, and they're going to find a nice little sweet angle over here.
Let's check out this way.
This is the beauty of the professionals. They find space where it doesn't exist. They have the wall here on their angle, and they discover it and they say, let's hold here. They're probably not going to find it. Let's take a look at Team EXO and see what they're doing on their world. And they're holding. We have two teams in the top 9 that are match point, and Team EXO now has the uphill battle to get all the way across. I know there's a lot of fighting going on down below, but this team really does matter in terms of match point, what they're going to do. Let's take a look at, make sure that, oh, hold on, we're going to hold here. There's no way they would drop on this. They're just going for the finish. Respectable. Just wants to put that extra little bit of pressure. Let me go back to make sure Lynx is not getting into any hot mess. They are, who's above them? Let's take a look. There's one team above them. Are they actually going to push this?
You're in their sights.
EXO does get a knock. It's going to be hard. I'm trying to keep an eye on two teams that are at match point here. Let's go back to Zero. How's he doing? All he did here was he just got some wingman shots, but they have a hard rotation in. There's a crypto ult going. He did not make it out, unfortunately. So there is knocks happening, but we're keeping an eye on the two teams as they're set. There's only 7 teams remaining, and quite literally, this could be the end of the tournament. I'm literally at the edge of my seat trying to figure out which one is actually going to take it home for us. Looks like Lynx is actually getting pretty aggro, pushing into this building here. Gibraltar is cracked. He does need to go for the bat. Let's switch POVs as he pushes in. Strong damage, gets a knock. They do have the knock. They need to clean this up. If they clean this up, this could be huge for them. They don't need the points. Nice. They mop it up, and they're going to do some armor swaps. Very nice on their part. All they got to do is go right back to their ankle and hard hold it. And that's what they're pinging. They're saying, where are they at? Where can we fit? Where can we live? Where can we stay? Let's go right behind that wall again. Let's create space where it doesn't exist. And that's Gibraltar for you, brothers.
Shotgun ammo here.
Let's see if EXO's still in it. Has a building. Top 6 situation. Let's take a look at Lynx and how they're doing. They're hard holding the wall. I highly doubt they're really going to have much of a situation. Team Lynx has the upper hand here. If they play it patient, they don't get caught out, they don't get greedy, this is monumental for them. Let's take a look at the other team. We do have a rat. Kind of vibing. Kind of chilling. Surprised Lynx has not realized that where they're at. They do see them now. Let's take a look at Myth. Myth is in probably the hardest spot considering the nade right there, and the chair actually blocks it. Very impressive.
I see one of them.
Everyone is just holding, and everyone's waiting. That chair, whoever designed that chair from Apex,
Let's check out this way.
massive. The fact that it's been blocking so many nades. Lynx has just got to play patient. I'm Noobles and his team is hard holding this building. They have prime positioning as well. Everyone just has to wait.
Let's go this way.
Contact with target.
We're going to keep an eye on EXO. And we're going to keep an eye on Zero. Who's kill leader at the moment? Let's take a quick look. It looks like it's Lynx who's kill leader, but I don't think that they're going to be picking. I want to see if EXO manages to clutch out a big play here. They're looking for a building. They're looking for an opportunity. They want to sit in a building, and they do not want to be in an open field.
Might be something good this way.
They're not going to waste port. They're going to take the first floor of this building. They're just going to hold here. They say hold here, don't move. And unfortunately, there's an arc star, and they did not get hit. That's positive. That's good for them. They do not want them in the first floor of their building, though. They do not want them here. RS has knocked Myth. We're going to keep an eye on this. Big play on their part. They just have to hold. If they hold, this could be huge. He's trying to get the bat off. They're constantly swapping and trading. He's trying not to get caught and burning. There's so much nades. There's so much damage going out. They're trying not to die. A good movement. It's like they're playing a game of cat and mouse, going back and forth, making sure they don't get hit. Lynx is still in a positive spot. Sorry for blocking the screen. I just want to make sure they were not dead. Big damage. Goes back right back in. Don't get greedy. Play patiently. Lynx and EXO, two teams at match point at the moment. Literally anything can happen, ladies and gentlemen. We're at the edge of our seat. I am afraid to switch off of them out of fear of what could happen. Because the action is here. Fortunately, he gets knocked. This is not looking good for them. They could throw the Gibby bubble for a res, but it's very unlikely. He's still got 5 seconds up based on his bubble, using the shield as cover. He's going to go for the bat. Unfortunately, gets knocked. Take a POV from. He's got 2 shields now. He just has to hold. This is definitely in the favor of Lynx right aside, and they get knocked. Let's take a look at Lynx as their match point, and this is in their favor. This could be their win. Look where the zone is going to pull. I'm going to zoom into the map so you're aware. Just so you're aware. Look where it's going to pull. Right here. Right towards them, and they're all stuck in the building. This is a smart play on their part. They're having a different angle so they can shoot people as they run in. Big brain. 200 IQ.
Contact.
Contact with hostile.
Making contact with enemy.
They're hard holding. They're waiting. This is going to come down to the zone. Going to pull towards them. Lynx, as long as they play this patiently, they could win this. There's the Gibby bubble, or Gibby ult. There's the Q, puts out the ult. Make sure he's trying to stop them, make sure they don't come in. He's right in that circle, He's waiting for people to take that port. They don't take the port. Big damage. This is the smallest zone ever. And they clutch it out. They were, if I'm not mistaken, match point. I'm going to wait until I get confirmation from the refs that they won it. But that's looking like Lynx is taking it.
We have our apex.
Let me take a quick look based on the scoreboard and the leaderboard again. They were match point. I'm waiting for confirmation. That's crazy. What a round and what a day. All right, I'm going to wait for the reps just to get final confirmation, but they played that beautifully. 2 teams at match point. That was pretty crazy. Hold on 1 second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm waiting for the reps just to make confirmation based on that scoring. Once they get confirmation, waiting for them just to confirm. Make sure there's something I'm not missing. Because they were match point eligible, so I want to make sure. And everyone says GG's. Everyone says grants to Lynx. What a round. What a round. That was crazy. This is the fastest I've seen Apex ALGS occur in 6 rounds. Massive game on their part. Still 5-5-3. They had the biggest uphill battle, and even Wolfpack tried to knock them out, and they didn't, unfortunately. But what a day, what a round, what a phenomenal game of Apex Legends. Again, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe on everything. The fact that you guys have all been here, what a phenomenal tournament and run of events. Shout out to EA. Thank you so much for letting me spectate and be a part for today. And that goes definitely to Lynx. Huge congrats to them. If anybody has any questions, we're going to hang out for just a hot second, and then we're going to probably wrap up the stream here. All right. But thank you again so much, everyone, for watching. What a day. What a day for Apex. The fact that you guys have been able to tune in, be a part of the stream, has been massive. Huge congratulations to Lynx on that. Want to make sure, just checking on some of the back end things. Okay, let's see here. All right. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap on that. Congratulations again to their team. The fact that we got to follow them on their journey and everything they did. It is almost 6 in the morning here. It's been a long day for me. I'm definitely exhausted. This is my second night being up in the middle of the night. Hope all of you guys have enjoyed the stream. I'm going to timestamp this with all the various rounds. We actually didn't have to go on a 15-minute break, which is good. But again, be well to yourself. Thank you again for tuning in, being a part. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe. We definitely post more content here. There's more tournaments. I'll definitely be sure to reach out to EA and be more than happy to shoutcast and give a point of view for you guys here on the channel. Thank you guys again so much for watching. See you guys next time.